Hello, everyone. Welcome. Alexandra will be here shortly. Sorry for being a little bit late. Um, the problem, we have had some technical difficulties. Um, it's YouTube, StreamYard, Google. I never realized how buggy they are. They're a bit buggy at times. I just never realized that there's things like if you have two YouTube accounts, it becomes buggy. Both StreamYard and Google, both of them just become weird about it. Why do they even offer that possibility? Anyway, hello everybody. We will be Alexandra will be here shortly. We will be doing an awesome. We will be having a awesome conversation where she will present her. Well, she will present this. I think you've seen it in my outreach. It's called the folder, and She is the one who made it, and she is the one who will be presenting it. And I will be asking questions just like you. And yeah, I think it will be useful for everybody because she also has an updated version, which I don't have, but. Anyway, let's say hello to everybody. I wonder how everybody is doing because I'm a bit. I've been having some tough conversations with my family, so it's not always easy. But I'm good. So I'll just say hello to everybody until Alexandra comes. Suicide Flop says the Spanish activist. No, Alexandra is actually the Radikale Veganerin. She's a German activist. She lives in Berlin. She does great work. She was here in Amsterdam for a while, and we did some activism together. And yeah, she does a great job. Hey, Mr. Manx. Mr. Manx, I always wonder how to pronounce your name. When I saw it, I thought it's like Monks or something, but it's Mr. Manx. Hello. Hey, Chase. Nice to see you here, Mr. Chase. I think I saw an ad where they featured you as a singer or something. Yeah, I think I saw it on Nathan Blackberry's YouTube channel, and I thought that was really cool. You're awesome, Chase. We all know you're awesome, so stop it with this. Alexandra's gonna be here soon. Hey, Vegan47. I remember your name, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know if I should say. Can I say it? Can I say your name? I don't know. Like, some people want to be private, so I want to respect their privacy. Hey, I'm still working till 5, but listening in the background. Hey, Roya, nice to see you here. Nice to have you here. Happy that you're listening. Listen away. David C. Arenas, Halokan. Hey, David, nice to see you. I hope all bygones are gone because I don't know. I think like we align on values, you and I. We just had some weird shits at some point. I don't know what it was. It's hormones on my side. I can obviously say it's me. It's nothing else. Hey, Martin, nice to see you. Oh, David already mentioned it. Okay, yeah. That's 5 p.m. London, UK. Okay, that's cool. Oh, that's like yeah, another 30 minutes of work. That's pretty good. Hey, a friendo, nice to see you. The awesome. Hey, a friendo, are you a designer by job? Because I actually don't know that. Like, because you do amazing digital work, and I saw the Stardew Valley thing that you did for Tofu Dog. Really nice, really nice. Looking forward to this, says Neil. Yeah, me too. It will happen soon. Can we order the folder? I think Alexandra will give more details about it. I think she's working on a system to order it, but if not, I think you can also have it for free and print it yourself, something like that. But she will be clearer soon. Alexandra says, I'm here. Where are you, Alexandra? I don't see you. Come to StreamYard. If you are watching, come to StreamYard. Anon, hey, Kathy, nice to see you. Oh, that's a nice photo. That's very cute. Baby cow, loving baby cows. Hello, is your name Chip? Yes, my name is Chip. Chip, yes. My name is actually Cyprian. I'm from Romania. Today is actually the day when I did the final procedure in renouncing my Romanian citizenship. I didn't necessarily want to renounce it. I just did it because I have to get Dutch citizenship. So yeah, I'm no longer Romanian starting today, so hell yeah. Okay, Alexandra's here. Let me just say hello to everybody real quick. Hey, Chip, big loves, just joined Challenge 22 Mentor Training. You inspired me. Hell yeah, nice to... Oh my God, really? That's... Oh, you made my day. Thank you so much. I love to hear that. Love it. Okay, let's add Alexandra to the chat. Wait, let's put it you like this. Like this, yes. Hello, Alexandra.
Hey, finally, we made it. We made it. Yeah, so
People are excited to see your folder, huh?
yeah, I'm very, very excited that you actually came up with a great idea of going through it in English finally, because so many people were actually messaging me and asking like if there's a tutorial on how to do that, and how was I thinking of using that with a non-vegan person. And so it is very, very good that we are actually doing this now in English, so that more people will be able to use it and understand the concept and everything.
Yeah. I mean, I saw it when you did it in German, and I was like, "What is she saying? I really want to
What
know
does she
more."
say? Yeah, I actually already have one table debate online where I went through the entire thing from start to finish. That's the only English video where you can actually see that, but I think it's always better to go through it with a vegan person step by step, not with a non-vegan person, and to maybe like answer some of your questions that you might have for outreach situations and so on. Yeah.
Before we dive into this, can you tell everybody a little bit who you are, what you do, just so that maybe
Yes.
there's people out there who don't know you and they want to know you.
I bet there will be many people who don't know me, but it's fine. So my name is Alexandra. I'm a graphic designer, a nude fetish and porn art photographer, and also an animal rights activist. And ever since, I guess, over a year now, I started doing street activism as well. And I decided to use most of my time to use my skills for educational purposes for animal rights activism. And so I decided to use my graphic design skills not only to create a multitude of different outreach signs and protest signs and whatever people can use on the streets, but also to create the folder. I just have my German version here, but you'll see the English version soon, which I'm going to share with you. Because I want the world to become as vegan as it possibly can get within my lifetime. So I want to do my part for it. And so, yeah, I spend most of my time actually doing activism. So even if it's like go out or like cutting videos or even like creating educational material that you can print out for yourself and give to non-vegans or your family members, friends who are not vegan, whoever. So I really want to give other activists like a multitude of things that they can work with. So because in the first place I always do it for myself, I have to be honest, like the things that I create, I think, oh, I could use them, I could really, really, really use them, and then I just put them out and hope that other people want to use them as well. So yeah, that's that.
That's awesome that you put them out there. I guess you put them out for free for everybody to use.
Yes. So all the download files, of course, are for free. So it's all ready to print. I'm also like a graphic designer, so it's a really good quality. So you don't print like shitty materials or whatever. It's a really good quality as well, and it's all free. Yes, of course. And some people, especially in the German-speaking countries, they know that they can also order the folder from me, but they only have to pay like the print and the shipping costs. So that's what I'm doing at the moment too, because I want as many people as possible to use it, to go out, to veganize people, and I want this to be accessible for as many people as it could possibly be accessible. Yeah.
So I know I don't know how you plan on doing this. Maybe I hope I don't ruin your plans about it. I know that the folder kind of consists of several images, right? Like side by side, one image or another, right? Where there's kind of a comparison being done on each page. I'm curious, like what got you like what inspired you to do it this way? Like it's clearly very well made. I was impressed when I saw it. So I'm curious, like what exactly inspired you? Because a lot of the times not all the choices are binary, but somehow you made it a step-by-step process, which every choice is binary.
Yeah, well, it all started with a very simple idea. And the idea was, okay, so for me, it is like in my head, it is very visually clear why I'm vegan. It's very logical. It's very reasonable. It's it's a very strict thing to come from A to B. Like, why is it not okay to not be vegan? And why I have to be vegan from now on. It's a very clear approach. And so I thought it would be very helpful to visualize exactly what I have in mind. So it's easier for me to communicate exactly this to other people, because I think that, yes, there are people that understand the issue right away when they hear about it. Of course, they're like auditive people, but there are also people who are more like me, a very visually learner. So my brain absorbs the most information via visuals. That's why I really try to make it visually appealing. I want people to be able to digest the information with very simple images and comparisons, because you have on the one side one fact A, fact B, and now make sense of it, you know. So it needs to be very, very easy. And especially when we look at where the folder starts, it starts on a page where it's just having like an object and a subject, because that is where it all has to start. We have to go back to the roots. We have to start from the ground, and we have to, I know it sounds very hard what I'm going to say right now, okay, but we have to explain this entire issue as if we would explain it to children. So it should be very easy to digest, easy shapes, easy colors, easy words, very easy and very plain, like, you know. So, and I think when you understand the issue, you are able to explain it to everyone, also to children. And that's why I try to make this in that way, so that I just start with a very simple comparison, and from that on, we go ahead. Yeah.
And just to clarify, for if there's any people who are not vegan in the chat, why are you not vegan anyway?
The fuck is going
If you're, yeah, if you're not vegan, the only reason why this sort of explanations need to be said as they would for children is not this isn't a respect thing, but more of the idea that our brain has this thing called cognitive dissonance.
Yes.
Yeah, where we're presented, if we're presented with information that doesn't agree with our worldview, with our first instinct is to deny it and to try to find reasons why we deny it, right? So this whole thing is trying to kind of take you from ground zero all the way to the end, just so that it and tries to avoid cognitive dissonance, as far as I understand. And warning, there might be some graphic material as we go through it.
Yeah, of course, like it has to be in that folder too, because this folder is meant to represent the facts, and is meant to go straight to the core, to the root of the problem. And that's why it is a very radical approach. It is at the same time, but also a very soft approach, because you really, really start with very simple things where everyone can agree on very easily. And then you take the people by the hand and you go together. You walk together through this folder. And you'll see that it is easier for people to understand the bigger ethical implications of it and everything when you start from the beginning with the very simple things on why we have to morally consider others. Why do we have to do that? What do we owe to each other, basically? And so I started from the very beginning, because we have to morally consider someone if they are a someone and not an object. You don't have to morally consider objects because they're not sentient, they don't feel. And that's the base of it all. This is what it all boils down to. And we treat animals like objects, and that's the entire issue. They are legally our property. We use them as commodities. We use them as resources, although they are sentient individuals with a subjective experience of life. And so I wanted to clean this up from the bottom, because I know that, you know, you've also been born you've been born vegan, and then you turned non-vegan by society and indoctrination and parents. So it's the same with me, and it's the same with most non-vegans, you know. And so I think when we want to fight against speciesism and against this entire speciesist mindset, which is a very, very tricky one to deal with. Like, if you've never thought about it, it's a freaking info dump when we first talk to people about veganism, you know. And to make this easier to digest, in my personal opinion, I think it's almost not enough to just talk to them. They have to have a flyer to take back home with information. They have to see something from the folder, maybe, so that their brain understands the issue really. And so I really want to make this all about visuals and all about simple shapes, so that it's easier for people to understand. Because at the end, as complicated as this entire issue can be, and as it is, as simple as it's just as simple at the same time, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, I think it's only complicated because our minds make it complicated more than anything.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I guess society also plays a little bit of a role where it just makes it annoying for us to be.
Yeah, there are many factors, but I think as soon as someone starts to think for themselves and is not getting in a defensive mode, but is open to hear the information and to go with you along this road and stays calm, I think then your chances are very good to turn someone vegan or even activist on the spot with this folder, which I already did also a couple of times, so it works. It is possible. My brother is the best example. He turned from meat eater to activist in 20 minutes, where I was walking him through this folder. And ever since I witnessed that, I was like, okay, so it's possible. It's possible. It's not only because he's my brother, of course, but in general, it's possible, obviously, because my other brother is not vegan. So on him, it didn't work. But he also refused to even look at it. So what shall I do?
Okay. I love it. I don't. By the way, I don't know what you shall do, because I've had a conversation like this before this call with my family, so it wasn't a pleasant conversation. But let's go with it, and I will try. I've been looking around the room what I'll try to put, but I think I'll just I'll be. This is the activist, and then I don't know. This is the meat eater. So if
I get it.
If I see it at some point that I could come up with a question, maybe as a meat eater, I'll try to put this on. And as an animal abuser, not meat eater.
Yes.
Because we don't care about
Tierfascher, we say in German.
Tierfascher.
Yeah, it's a bad word, but I love using it sometimes because it's adequate. Okay, so.
Let's do this. Let's go.
Okay, let's do this. So I will share now my screen. Yes, my entire screen, and then I put it on half. Okay, I just do it. I just do as I feel, and you say if it looks shitty. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you share it. I have to add it because okay. So you can I add it to the stage? Oh, but yeah, you're gonna have to go to a different tab, I think, if you want me to add that to the.
What I have to do right now? I shared the screen right now, but now I have to.
Just show us the folder.
Has the folder need to be in a tab or offline?
Wherever you want.
I have it as a PDF here. I have it like this as a PDF.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
let me change the size a little bit. Yeah, I think that's the perfect size. Yeah, like this.
Yeah, but you can't show us the video, because then we see the video twice. So you see what I mean?
What do you mean?
Yes.
Okay. So should I just do this?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Then I put it just on this side, so I can just check. Okay. So now you see this on my super clean desktop, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody else already noticed that your room is very cozy and that you got a lot of plants, and they love it. So.
So let me get back. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so let's start with the folder. Okay, so everyone can see that, yes?
Yeah, can everybody confirm that you're seeing this and it's the right size? Do you you can read what you see and everything?
I mean, I could also share at first the page where you can download the photo. So in case you want to download it and have it on your own screen too, maybe that would be a nice thing too. Can we do that?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you have the link. You have the link.
Yeah,
just drop it in a chat so people can have the original PDF open if they want to, just in case it is easier.
Yeah, that's true. You can go through the. No, actually, you know what? No, let's give it at the end. Let's just, because I want people to hear.
Otherwise, I scroll through, right?
Yeah, okay. Exactly. That's how our minds are. Huh?
Okay. Let's start then.
If you want my opinion, I would make it bigger and only show one page so that we go page by page. Anyway, I think we're trying to go.
Okay, because sometimes two pages belong together. Because I have to show for the people. I just show the first example where it is like this. Hold on. I don't want to show too much. Sometimes it is just like one page and the upper one is white, but sometimes this is two pages together. You see? but most of them are like this, okay? But sometimes 2 pages belong together. I will tell you which ones, because in print it works best, okay?
When it's 2 pages, maybe we can share that both, but most of the time I think it's
Yeah.
better if everybody can read it nicely so that we can.
Okay, so let's start with this then, okay?
Can you also make it a bit wider? Sorry.
My OCD, your OCD are fighting against each other.
Love it. This is perfect. Perfect size.
That's perfect. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, so as I said before, I always start with the direct comparison between an object and a subject, because I think it is very important. And I always explain to people, you know, you can sit on the statue of the golden dog. You can punch the statue of the golden dog. You can even break a leg of the golden dog. The golden dog statue wouldn't feel anything because it's a statue. It's not a real dog. It's an object, right? But if you do the same with the real dog, if you sit on them, if you punch them, if you break a leg, it will hurt them because they're not an object. They're a subject who is experiencing it subjectively. And that's the first part. And about the folder in general, you only go to the next page, like when you walk it through with a person, okay? You only go to the next page when the person agrees, when they accept it, when they understand. Because when someone is stopping here already and is denying this, you don't have to go any further, you know what I mean? And so it is very important to always ask for, did you understand this? Do you agree? And when I say yes, okay, let's continue to go through, okay? Of course, you can also use the folder, like you can open it anywhere you need it in a conversation. Like I have my little markers, as you can see here, and no matter what I need in the conversation, I just open up the page I need then. But sometimes you gotta have the talk, and you gotta sit down with non-vegans and be like, okay, I want to go this, I want to walk this through with you. And so that's the first page. Okay, everyone agrees? Yes?
I agree, yes. Wait, let me put in
You agree, yes. Okay, very good. Very good.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I would call the dog a subject. I don't know if I would call them a someone, but I agree.
Yeah, if they're not someone, what are they?
Some.
Some. Okay. So then we go to the next page, and there it is, a statue again, and this time it's a pig, and now it's not only the differentiation between object and subject, but it is a note there that objects are not sentient and subjects are sentient, because obviously, as I said before, the dog is feeling what is done to them, and it's the same with the pig. Like, it's not changing just because it's another animal, right? They're sentient still. Okay.
Yes.
Do you agree? Yes. Okay. Okay. So on the next page, I have listed what is sentience in general, because of course, after the first 2 pages, people might come up with this question, and I want to stop them in their tracks immediately. And I want to be like, okay, before you have like too many questions on how to define sentience, that's that. So all sentient beings have a central nervous system. That's the main thing. And most sentient beings also have pain receptors, a brain to perceive and process pain, a subjective life experience, the ability to suffer, their own interests, and their own personality. They are, in the philosophical sense, at least, a person, okay? So, yes. Of course, there are animals that only have a central nervous system. They don't possess all of these things listed here. I think like jellyfish and some insects and stuff, but still, as soon as there is a central nervous system, they are able to perceive something subjectively. And that's why I listed it here. And especially with the comparison that we had before with the dog and with the pig, I now put these 2 here just to really make it clear. Yeah. Did everyone understand this?
I agree. I understand. Yes. And I have seen some questions in the chat, like,
yes, drop it.
Why is there a dog? Why not compare a gold-plated human to an alive human?
Yeah, because this is about the animals. This is not about humans. I mean, yes, humans are animals, but we are the oppressor in that sense. We are talking to non-vegans when we use this folder, and it's not about the non-vegan. They shouldn't get the wrong idea, because they're oppressing animals. And I particularly start with an animal that has the role of a pet, because most people already have like a connection to their pet that is on eye level, so they accepted them as a person already, so it is easier for them to make the connection and to agree and to understand, okay? And I'm not using humans because it's not about us, and so it should always be about the animals. Yes.
And I also think it transitions way faster. Like I feel like if you put humans, the discussion can always end up in the what do you call the argument where what is the difference? Like name the trait. So it's better that we just start with animals and keep with animals. Also, I believe so.
Yes, and I think my personal opinion is that pets, although they are also oppressed and they're also exploited and they also are considered our property, so they also don't have the rights that they should have, right? But they have a different role, and the role friend helps us to it's like a little key that we have as vegan activists to make them understand that other animals also should have that label friend, like that they're not considered a resource, an object, but someone that we even consider family, like most people are doing with their pets already. So I think that's a very important thing. That's why I really like to actually use pets for activism, because people can't deny that they can feel and that they have personalities and that they are someone and not something. Usually they don't deny it when it comes to their own pets. And so why not use that as an entrance to that topic to talk about the other animals that they are still oppressing? Yes.
Vegan Animal Defender also said sentience is the ability to have subjective experiences. That's it. Honestly, sentience is kind of hard to say that that's only that, but I agree that that's what should be the most value out of it. But every other point makes just enough sense, and I believe it adds to it, to the idea. And you can have conversations, and when you show this page, you can directly discuss exactly this, that yes, it is the ability to have subjective experience, but it also implies pain receptors and everything else. So
yes.
Oh, and I also
Okay,
saw
so
this one, which animals have dreams, desires, and wants or goals, just like humans. That was also an
yeah,
interesting thing.
they have their own interests. That's
Yeah.
what it's meant by that. So yeah, of course, dreams. That's a little different thing. Of course, they have brain, the cognitive abilities that are similar to our cognitive abilities. So of course, they can dream, they can think, they can maybe think back to something that happened in the past, to remember that they don't want to meet that one human again because the human was shitty to them. So of course, they can also remember. But even if they couldn't do that, they would still be sentient. Even if they would only live in the moment, what Peter Singer is suggesting, I think it's complete bullshit. They would still be sentient, of course, and they would still have the right to be morally considered because they are not objects. And so, yeah. Okay, let's continue. Okay,
yes.
So then we have a next comparison. It's first you can see a non-human animal that is sentient and a human animal that is sentient, just simply because a lot of people come up with, you can't compare humans and animals very much in the beginning of these conversations, right? And just to show that we can, because we can literally compare everything to each other when we put it next to each other and we see the differences and what is in common, that's a comparison, and that's that. And so when we put non-human animals and human animals next to each other, we can clearly see from this image that both are sentient. They feel the stethoscope on their chest, and it's cold, and hence why they react, and they have their facial expressions, right? And a monkey, of course, is quite similar to human expressions. That's why people like, it's easier for them to understand because they look so much like us. That's why I use this picture as well, and I think it's quite fitting actually to show how much alike we are,
Yeah, those are some great photos. I gotta admit it makes it very
yeah.
good. Very, very clear. Very clear.
Yeah, I was trying to find out like the best pictures on spot. Oh, and by the way, I want to say something before we move on. If any one of you has a good feedback, like a good critique for the photo, something that like you can explain to me why it should be done better in the future, please message me, drop it, because I always have a list in my notes where I have like the update for the next update round of the photo, because I always want to keep it up to date. I always want to make sure that it has the best pictures, the best phrasings, and it can be used in the best way possible. And so if you have any critique on that, any feedback, feel free to drop it to me. And every 6 to 8 months, I will do an update and I'll work through all of the feedback, and then I will update it. Okay, so feel free to message me. I'm open for critique and for updates. And yeah, let's continue.
And please hold your if you think there's something missing, write it
Wait
down and
until the
hold it.
end.
Yeah, wait until the end, because there's a lot of pages. We go through a
Yeah.
lot of stuff, and it's if we're gonna critique of everything, like, oh, this is missing, maybe at some point it kind of completes or goes there. So it's best so that we go through the folder and kind of see where we're at.
Yes, and also, you know, I tried to make the wording relatively short within this folder, so it's very easy for the eyes. And some things the activist has to say along with it, of course. Like, I cannot put down every single line of reasoning. I think the pictures should explain most part of it, but that's why I want to show you how to use it, on what to say when you go to each side, and what people could talk back, and what to respond, and so on. But the single idea, the single thought of what it's about is in the folder already with a little text. So, okay.
Love it.
Let's go to the next page. So now we have this, because a lot of people are saying like, yeah, but plants are also sentient and can also feel pain, la la la. No, just no. Like, they don't have a central nervous system. They don't have the biological capabilities to experience any type of subjective experience. And it's a little bit sad that it's just in German, but there's a very, very good documentary, a new one that actually came out shortly ago. And it's about the latest scientific evidence about plant life and how they are, and how they're living. And, you know, they said in this documentary that it is proven that plants cannot feel pain. It is proven that plants can react to stimuli. They are intelligent in their own way, in that sense that they are able to respond to certain new information. But a response doesn't mean that there's someone at home thinking about doing that response. So if a plant, like if the sun is moving, the sunflower is not thinking, oh, the sun is moving around, I have to turn around. It is like literally receptors that get a certain amount of light, and if the light goes down, the receptors change their angle, and then the plant just moves around. So the discussion about plants feel pain is very ridiculous, and everyone that comes up with it, I'm urging you to become a plants rights activist if you really think that this is serious, because I think it is trivializing what we are doing to the animals. It is downplaying what we're doing to the animals, and it is one of the one of the lowest quality arguments that anyone could ever come up with. And also, plants are not screaming. It's the air bubbles that are released, they make a pop noise. So everything has been debunked so many times already. It's not up for discussion. It's not on the table to debate whether plants do feel pain or not. It is absolutely not to debate, not at all. So science is on our side, and that's that.
And even if you do think that plants feel pain and it's wrong to do this to plants,
what do the animals eat?
It would be preferable to do it to less plants. So even then,
yes,
it makes sense to be vegan. So
yes,
yeah, but let's. I agree.
Yeah, because it's really frustrating to hear it. You know, it's really, really frustrating. It's just a lazy form of excuse to say, oh, but you're not perfect either, and what you eat also feels pain. Exactly. It is you're not better than me fallacy, and it is tukokwe, it is everything. It is just bullshit in the end, you know. And I don't have the energy for that. And I just wanted to make this very clear with this comparison. Like, it's not the same when you cut a salad in half as when you cut the throat of an animal. It's not the same. And when you really think that there's no reason to continue a conversation, if this is really the hill you want to die on, no, then yeah. I cannot talk and reason with you, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, and it's also like, it's very disingenuous. It's just clearly disingenuous. Like, you can see a baby who would easily chop an onion, or well, let's say an onion because they would hurt their eyes not so much, but like a tomato, like an iceberg salad, what you see in there. But an animal, they would slowly approach them, maybe pet them with care. So
yeah,
like.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why this brutal picture is in there, just to really make it clear. Plants are not sentient, animals are sentient, hence why plants also are not able to run away from pain, because they don't have pain receptors. They have roots, they are grounded, they don't have locomotion, they cannot move forward, because there is no reason for them to change location when they are not experiencing pain. Like when they don't have to escape from pain, they don't have to they don't need legs to escape from pain, and that's why they have roots. And so everything is just like so clear. It is insane. Okay, I will go on. Yeah.
Yes, go on, please.
Okay, NTT. Okay, so at this point of the folder, because I want to start very early with NTT, because I think it's one of the most solid arguments for veganism that we have. And so I try to start it backwards to make it easy to digest for non-vegans who've never heard of that. Name the trait is basically a line of questioning where you try to find the trait differentiator between humans and non-human animals that justifies the different treatment. So for example, if someone says like, well, animals are not as smart as us, and then you can say, okay, let's find a human with the same traits, a human who is not as smart as the average person. Is it okay to morally exclude them? The answer is no. So it doesn't make any sense. And therefore, we should all be vegan. And that's basically NTT. So, but to make it easy for non-vegans, yeah,
Alexandra, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the latest video of Jack Higgs. So he posted a video on
as
Instagram.
a farmer.
Where he is dressed as the farmer, and he talks to a non-vegan, and he says that he hates vegans and that he would put them in gas chambers or put them in his basement or stuff. And this one person says yes. So maybe the reason why name the trait doesn't work on some people, because the reality is that for them, if they would see a intellectually disabled, cognitively and physically inferior, dependent on assistance, yet sentient person, they would say that they don't deserve to live as much as any other person. So
yeah, these people are out there, but these are also the people that we will never reach and that we don't want to waste our time with, right? So the people.
Oh, that's a great point.
So there are crazy people out there, there are trolls out there are people out there who don't want to change, who don't care about animals, and who don't want to have any information about it, who really don't care. They only think about themselves, and it will never change, and they will die on this hill. And these are people. It's okay, just run by, and I want to talk to someone who is actually able to use their brain. And that's that. So for this page. For this page, these pictures of the humans, by the way, are AI generated. So it's just some.
Okay, that's cool.
Some figuratively like humans that AI came up with. Yeah, because I didn't want to like take any picture. Like I don't have pictures that I could use, first of all, of people in that situations, and so I figured I just do them. Okay. So here on the left, we have a boy who is intellectually disabled, cognitively and physically inferior, dependent on assistance, yet he's sentient, and we should morally consider him. And on the right, we have someone with advanced age, physically inferior, dependent on assistance, and yet he's also sentient, and we should morally consider them and not exclude them, discriminate them, oppress them, enslave them, and murder them for something optional, right? Okay. So people usually say, yeah, I agree. And then you go to the next page, and then we have babies. They are not mature, they're cognitively and physically inferior, they're dependent on assistance, and yet they're sentient, and we should not oppress and discriminate them. And on the right, we have a little lamp, which is, I put it there as a representation of all the animals that are sentient, okay? I just put the most innocent, a lamp. So the lamp is cognitively and physically inferior. It's dependent on assistance, at least because we bred them into existence. Of course, they need us then to provide for them, of course, yeah. And yet they are sentient. So that's NTT, basically. So even if someone is not on our cognitive level, even if someone is in need of help, even if someone can't do anything for society, cannot build houses, is not able to go vote, even if someone is depending on us their entire life, we should not morally exclude them. No, we should morally include them, we should protect them, we should care about them, and we should not exploit them and use our advantage and oppress the inferior, which are all the animals that we are literally oppressing and exploiting. And most people agree and understand at that point, because it is so clear, and that's basically NTT in pictures. So
I love it.
Okay, so you agree, yeah?
I agree, yes.
Okay.
I agree.
No bacon for now. Okay. So let's continue then. Now there comes a double page. So that's the top part. I will just show you one after each other, okay? So there we have discrimination, and I was writing it down so people can really see that it is the same structure as any other discrimination. So when it comes to sexism, we say they are just women, they are just men, etc. That means that we exclude someone morally based on their gender. When we say racism, they are just Black, Asian people, etc. Then we have ableism, they are just disabled people. And so on and so on and so on. Then we have some phobias as well. I just put it in marks because it's not a phobia. You're just a fucking asshole if you hate on trans or homo people. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
It is what it is. It's not a phobia. It's, because in German we have another word, and it's Feindlichkeit, which means that you are having like an enemy position towards them, that you're the enemy of the trans people, and it's a better word because it doesn't make you feel like you have a natural phobia or whatever, but you are just an asshole, you know? So, and then we have speciesism. They are just animals. They are just livestock. So discrimination means, or these types of discriminations, they mean that it's a discriminatory and oppressive moral exclusion of sentient beings based on an ethically insignificant and arbitrary chosen characteristic. So none of these things why we morally exclude these individuals are morally significant because it doesn't matter what your eye color is, what your hair color is, your height, your skin color, your gender, what is in between your legs, whatever. It doesn't freaking matter when it comes to the question, who should we be allowed to stab to death and who not? It just is not holding up. It is just discrimination. It is irrational and it is arbitrary on every single line. So we just pick and choose basically, and it is not reasoned in anything logical. It is just discriminatory bullshit. Diskriminierende Kackscheiße in German.
I have a question here by David.
Yes.
He says, Alexandra, could you explain what you mean by moral exclusion? Is it total or partial? To which extent?
Okay, that's the next page. So moral exclusion means that as soon as we morally exclude someone from the circle of consideration, which means that we say we treat them differently than we would like to be treated in their position, that's where morally exclusion starts. It can be like, that's sunny. It can be with small things, like even when you say something racist that is diminishing someone and that is putting someone down, you're already excluding them morally because you wouldn't want to be in their position to be like called slurs or names, like racist slurs or names. You know what I mean? So it starts when we have a circle of compassion and we put someone outside of the circle of compassion, and that's discrimination, and that's where moral exclusion comes to play. So for example, here we have the pictures again. When someone is accepted in the moral circle, for example, it can go in different directions, but it's just an example when it comes to sexism. So men accepted and women are excluded because they are women. That's moral exclusion, and that's why we call it sexism. So basically, all of these discrimination forms are morally excluding someone based on a trait that they're born with, based on morally insignificant traits. And so here is the pictures again, the same that we just displayed here. And here we have with speciesism, we even have like two different lines of discrimination. We discriminate against animals because they are not human animals, which is one form of speciesism. And we also discriminate kind of against some animals in comparison to our pets, which doesn't mean that pets are not victims of speciesism as well, because we have a pet breeding industry, and even if someone buys a pet from a breeder, that still means that there's speciesism going on, because we wouldn't do it in a human context. We wouldn't breed humans to sell their bodies. We wouldn't do that slavery. That's like making a slave and selling them on a slave market, and that's pet breeding as well. So they are not safe from speciesism. But what I said earlier, when they have the role, a different role, when they don't have the role livestock, but when they have the role pet, these animals usually have the privilege of not being treated as if they are victims of speciesism. So we still consider them morally in a certain extent in our own home as friends, but these livestock animals, we exclude them morally, and we treat them differently. That's in a speciesist way. So with pets, they're in a different in-between world. I always say so. Pets are not really protected from us, but in a way they are. They are not really treated in the speciesist way, but in a way they are. They're living in a weird in-between line, and pets usually do because they're pets, right?
I give me a second. I want to respond. First of all, I love
Absolutely.
that you put a white male in all of it, because the white male is the ultimate supremacist person in the world.
Thank you for seeing exactly what I thought.
Yeah, yes. That's awesome.
It's the biggest oppressor the world has ever seen, and I think we should always acknowledge that. Kill all the white men, not you, but the non-vegan ones. No, I take it back. That's a great song.
Anyway, this person who is not vegan says, I have moral inclusion to plants and animals since I don't morally include/exclude based on sentience. Dennis, the reason why we draw the line at sentience, the reason why sentience matters, is because sentience is what makes an entity capable of feeling the repercussions of an action that you do onto that individual, right? So if that entity, whether that's I keep saying entity because they can be animals, they can be AI, artificial intelligence, they can be whatever they are, as long as they don't have emotions, as long as they don't feel, that means whatever you do to them, they wouldn't feel it. So therefore they don't really have there is no morality, because there's no good or bad if they can't feel it, right? So that's why we draw the line at sentience. And by feeling it, I don't just mean like physically feeling, but also emotionally and all of it, right? Like there's obviously, I mean feeling by the whole word. I also saw a question from David. Do you want to add to that?
Yeah, just a small thing. It's called moral relativism, what you just brought up. It's a form of a fallacy, and it means that you're putting down you put it on the same level as if plants and animals are alike. So it's also discriminating if we don't consider plants morally, whereas there is a huge difference, and you're not taking in consideration the ethical implications that come along with killing an animal versus killing a plant. And so there is a huge difference, and if you don't acknowledge that, that is a downplaying, and it's a moral fallacy.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, you know how it is. Anyway, David,
I don't see the chat, so I'm
yeah.
so free.
Okay.
I don't see any.
No worries.
I just I'm streaming the entire time, so I just see the ones that pop up.
Okay, so David asks, that's a bit problematic for me. We treat ticks or fleas differently from mammals, for example, which is my problem with the term speciesism. It's very inaccurate. And then he also gives another example where he says, we treat ants differently to koalas.
How? I don't.
So I would say, yes, we do, like society does, but I would say that we shouldn't, right? I mean, any sentient being has equal moral value. So obviously, if a koala was to try and live in my house, I would try to kick them out. So if ants try to make a home in my house, I will try to kick them out, just as I would with a koala, just as I would with a wolf, just as I would with another human being also, right? It's the same.
And I wouldn't go out and kill a koala as much as I wouldn't go out and kill an ant. The difference is just that ants are typically very, very, very small. So of course we don't notice them in our everyday life, but as much as I don't notice koalas in my everyday life. But still, I think for me, there is not much of a big difference. There is only like a little, maybe like the way, like the extent in which they are experiencing a subjective experience of life. There may be a little threshold. So of course, we don't know, but some insects maybe are not having the same intense experience of emotions as a cow, for example. As much as we can maybe agree that from at least from a gut feeling, we could think that a little bug doesn't have the same life experience as a human can have because of our cognitive abilities, you know, and it's the same with all the other animals. It doesn't mean that they have less value or that we should morally exclude them. So from my perspective, as soon as someone has a central nervous system and has somewhat of a subjective experience, we have to morally consider them, and there's no way around that. And if we really want, if we really have that mindset, you will look for ways to live that life, to live that way. Like, as much as I wouldn't buy insect burgers because it's not a cow burger, I wouldn't do that, because insects should also be morally considered. Just because they're small, it doesn't mean they're like they don't have any worth or whatever. I mean, one of my protest signs, the new ones that I designed, that it also features bees, because so many people are forgetting about them, and forgetting that we also exploit them and also mutilate them for honey, for example. And it's the same with mammals and fish. People make a line there, an arbitrary line, and say something that mammals are something bigger and better, and I'm vegetarian, but I eat fish. I don't eat animals, but I eat fish. What does it even mean? It doesn't make any sense. And it's it's the same. Yeah, just because fish don't have our facial expressions and we don't see ourselves in them, I think that's the main point why people can't relate. It's the same with insects. Many people can't relate. But to be honest, I don't know if you've ever spent time with a bug, but they do have their own interests. They do have desires. They have things that they like and dislike, and not every bug acts the same. So I don't know if you've ever had as a child like a little bug farm. I had them. I had one, and I was taking care of them, and they all were very, very different, and they acted differently, as much as all of the pets act different. And so I wouldn't make any difference there, although their experience might be a little less intense. But who cares? Who cares? We are not in their body. Like, we don't know. But what we know is that they can experience, and that they have a central nervous system, and some even kind of a brain. And so that's all that matters.
Yeah, and so there's two distinctions here. I would say sentience is on-off switch. There's no gradient to sentience, right?
Yes,
you either have it or you don't. There's no, I'm just saying, because there's a person here who keeps asking the same thing. Oh, whoa, what about whatever? Number one. And number two, I think maybe you should add this to your page. I don't know if you have it already, but I don't remember seeing it, that there is a difference between exploitation and accidental death, because
I will write it down. I will edit. Yeah, I see why. I see why.
Because David made a good point by saying, my point is, if we were to step on the grass and maybe we could kill 30 koalas, we would avoid it a lot more than we do. I don't avoid stepping on grass at all. Should vegans not walk on grass, right? So I don't know. It's interesting. You're bringing up an interesting point of view. I would say there is obviously in all of us a little bit of bias, right? If you don't see it, you kind of don't think about it too much, right? So insects are kind of disregarded in that way a little bit by us, right? So as you walk, you don't really look at all the smallest insects that are probably sentient that you might be walking on. Sometimes I try to do that, but it's hard to walk that way.
But when you see a bug, you don't step on it.
Exactly. Right.
And
there's a difference between
point.
Intent and accident.
Yeah. And when you walk from A to B and there are happening accidents on the way, it doesn't mean that's a free pass to not be vegan. Like, it doesn't mean it. And I'm just saying, because that's the reasoning of some people. Like, I've heard it a couple of times, and so.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yes, yes. Okay, let's go on. I love it. I love that you put the white male here. I love that you compare also the dogs and the pigs, which is a very good comparison, by the way. It's they're quite similar. So
at least in our country, it's like you could switch it a little bit in different countries where they have different pets and eat dogs, for example. But
yeah.
Okay, so the next part is about dehumanization. I have to say, I will change the word dehumanization. I will change it in the German version to verdinglichen. I don't know what it is in English. Let me just look it up, because I think it's a better word. It's to, yeah, okay, good. It's to objectify in English. So I will put it here because dehumanization is, of course, a very anthropocentric word. It is from our perspective because we can understand what it means to be dehumanized, to be degraded down to the level of animals. That is what it means, actually. So that means that we are denying sentience to someone, that we are denying personal interests to someone, that we are denying their personality. We even deny their victimhood. And this is what non-vegans do the most. They don't even see these other animals that they oppress as victims anymore because they are just animals. And so they cannot be victims. They cannot be murdered. They cannot be exploited. They cannot be this and that because they are just animals. And that is the biggest form of objectification. It is literally when you don't even let someone like the victimhood status, they're not even victims, not even that. You know, it's the objectification of a subject. The ownership status, they have ownership status instead of personhood status. They have numbers instead of names, sometimes figuratively. Of course, not every bee has a number, but you get what I'm saying. Yeah, they're considered a resource. And also, they are not a white human, and therefore they have no value. I'm just saying what like it is, okay? It's not this all the time, but a lot of white folks oppressed other folks in history. So, and that's
it is what it is. Yeah, sadly.
It is what it is. So dehumanization means denying the personhood based on cognitive, physical, technological superiority of humans. That's what, in that sense, objectification means. And there I put these two pictures together for this slide.
Before we go on, so David's point, he says, how accidental is it if we know that we could cause harm to insects by stepping on grass? That's why exploitation is key, not harm or suffering, and that's why the term speciesism is inaccurate. I would say that there is speciesism for the exploitation, if you ask me. Like, there's obviously humans are more reluctant to exploit certain animals than other animals, or certain species than other species. But the one point that I understand from this, that more than anything, it's maybe make it a bit more about exploitation than about harm.
So about this comment, I get the point. But the thing is, what you're doing, or what this leads to, is a suicide fallacy. So that means that, there is so much harm that we cannot avoid. And we actually, if we don't want to harm anyone, we should just stay inside like this and breathe, if even that. And then we just die at some point, and then we just kill ourselves, you know, because you cannot live without harming anyone else. It is just impossible, especially in this world and how the entire system works. And there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. We all know that, right? But the thing is, it is about rejecting the exploitation. We can live in a world without exploitation. We cannot live in a world without harm. We cannot live in a world without suffering. It is impossible. This is not what veganism can hold up to. Veganism has one goal and one goal only. It is to reject the exploitation and commodification of other animals for trivial reasons. That's that. And when of course, we know we could step on an ant accidentally, but that would mean suicide fallacy. When we continue this line of thought, this train of thought, we would derail ourselves, to say it like this, and we would have to kill ourselves to not harm anyone at all, or to even risk harming anyone at all. And although there is a possibility, it doesn't mean that we have to stop in all our tracks, because a dead activist is not a good activist. A sick activist is not a good activist. So we have to go outside. We have to go to the doctor. We have to maybe step on an ant to get there, but it's an accident, you know. It is not, we don't go out to step on an ant. We go out to do something else, hopefully something for the animals, and on the way there might be a little accidents. That is sad, but it's true.
So I think David gets that. I think what he's saying, I think Alexandra is not understanding my point. I'm talking about the inaccuracy of the word speciesism. It's very ineffective. Every non-vegans could accuse us of being speciesist.
But it's not true, because we are considering these insects as well. They are just like so small that you don't see them all the time, hence why you accidentally can step on them. It doesn't mean that it is speciesist, because I'm not running around saying, kill insects, let's breathe them into existence to set them up on fire and to eat them. This is not what vegans usually are saying or wanting. It is not speciesist if we accidentally step on someone.
I think his point is more that it's emphasis on the ineffectiveness more than anything. I don't think he disagrees with you there. I think more than anything, he thinks that it's more effective to not mention it because sometimes they can call us speciesist, because through his example, what he said, that if I were to know that I would kill 3 koalas every time I walk on grass, I would avoid walking on grass. But for me, if I were to know that the same probability of me killing ants as it would be to kill koalas if I walk on grass, it's the same to me. I would make the same decision. I don't value koalas more than ants. So, but I understand his perspective. His strict perspective is that it can lead to some unwanted conversations. But let's go through the whole folder, because I feel like speciesism is good to bring it up, and I think it does have value in the conversation.
Okay, one last comment to that is just speciesism is a superiority complex, right? But we don't feel superior to insects when. So it's not this type of discrimination. It is more like the mindset, how you think about them, and what happens along the way is might be a little different outcome. But I think it's mostly because we literally cannot see insects as fast as we can spot a koala or whatever. But that's just what I think. And I think it's a superiority complex thing when we discriminate others. It's less of a I treat you different because you're an insect thing. You know what I mean? It's very hard. But I get it now a little more.
There's no intent there. There's no intent there. That's the point. Like that. But we all know that. Let's go on. I feel like we don't want to be stuck on this thing.
Okay. And the first third of the folder is, by the way, the ethical points. So this is where we talk the most, actually. So the first third is the theoretical stuff, and we're still with it. But then there comes some other parts, and it's a little quicker. Okay. So here we have, it's just black people, it's okay to enslave them, versus it's just animals, it's okay to enslave them. Corporate wants you to find the difference between these two pictures. It's the same. It's the same picture. So on the left, we have a human animal enslaved, put in chains, probably had a number tattooed somewhere. And on the right, we have a cow put in chains with a number in their ear. And so both are enslaved. They're legally considered the property of the humans, of the white humans in that, or of the cow, I don't know, but of the humans. And that's that. It's the same.
I agree. I completely agree with this. Okay. Yeah, and I understand that. In fact, there's you can find propaganda online where black people were actually literally called animals. And
of course, I'm coming to that. Of course, and also they bred slaves as well in the past to have more slaves. So of course they did the same with them. That what they did with the animals today. So forceful impregnation, breeding, using them as resources, and so on. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. Now we have consent. So animals like small children or individuals with significant cognitive or physical limitations cannot give consent. The inability to give consent does not justify mistreating someone because of this inability. And good treatment does not justify abuse. So when people say, but when we treat those animals better, isn't that good enough? No, it's not, because we wouldn't use the same logic in another context. We wouldn't say, oh, you gave your slave a wonderful room and good food. You treat them so nicely, but they're still enslaved. It's the slavery is wrong, not the treatment about it. Of course, we shouldn't extra punish and hit them or whatever. But still, it is. It's not about the treatment. It's the slavery itself that's the problem. So. Consent, so using someone else's body for your own interests without their consent is a form of abuse. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay, so here we have an example picture of that. So using someone with consent, yay. Using someone without consent is abuse. No, we don't do that.
Yeah.
So,
and I would add also, regardless if it's in their benefit or not. I would say if there's no consent, like I wouldn't.
What do you mean?
I would stick. Like I feel like a lot of people can justify saying, well, what we do to animals, we also give them life in that sense, so we don't need consent from them. So, which is kind of ridiculous. But I would say
that is very much ridiculous. Yes. Well, the thing is, there are, of course, certain moments where you cannot get consent from an animal. And you want to act in their interest, but we will come to that, okay? But first, it's about the general, not about the exceptions. It's about the general stuff. So using someone without their consent generally not a good thing. We shouldn't do that, right? Because it's still their body. Okay. So let's go to the next picture.
Using is a very good word that you put in there. I like that.
Yeah, because we're using them, and we shouldn't. Yes, it's about the usement, not the treatment. So with this next page, we have this mutilation. So it's okay to mutilate them, and it's okay to mutilate. How's it pronounced? Mutilate?
Mutilate, yeah.
Mutilate. I'm so wrong. Okay. So on the left side, we have a little boy and a little girl who are getting their genitals mutilated. And on the right side, we have a little pig and a little lamb who are getting their genitals mutilated in the same way. So you can see all of them. Okay, the sheep you don't see, but the other three, they are clearly screaming. They don't like that, and they cannot consent to any of that. And it is done not in their interest as well. So on the left, we have it's done for traditional reasons and so on. On the right, it is for profit reasons, and it is not in their interest. So we can just add that here. So do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I had one more comment from Vegan47. Yes. He said, be careful with the word abuse. It can imply there is a right way to use someone.
I wouldn't say that, to be honest. I would have to sleep on that. I don't agree from my gut feeling. I have to think about that, but I wouldn't agree on that right away, because use also doesn't mean that it's automatically good. As we said before, like to use someone without their consent, it is still using someone. Doesn't have to mean that this is any way better than abusing someone. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, plus, I don't know. I can consent to somebody using me. That's fine. So there are right ways of using someone if there's consent. But yeah, if I can actually give consent. But yeah, anyway, let's move on. I feel like we're getting stuck in details, and I don't want to get stuck in details.
It's fine. So the next comparison is they're just women. It's okay to treat them like commodities versus a cow at a slave market. They're just animals. It's okay to treat them like commodities. So in both pictures, we can see how someone in those pictures, especially two females, are put on a slave market for auction. So they're put in the middle, and the humans are standing around. And it's like, oh, look, she's able to have like 5 more children, or she already has so many children. Look at her body. Look at what she's able to produce. Look at what you can get from her. And now who's the highest bidder? And this is basically what happened in the past. This is what is happening still right now with the animals. And it is absolutely terrifying, in my opinion. Just imagine being up for this. It's absolutely insane. Like, yeah.
I agree.
Okay, so then we have 2 very harsh comparisons, but I think they're very necessary. We have on the left side, it is a screen grab from Schindler's List. It's a film that you might know. It's a German, I don't know if it's a German film. No, I don't think so. But it's a film about Nazi time in Germany and stuff. And these are the Jews in the gas chamber. And so they're just Jews. It's okay to gas them. As much as we're saying today, they are just animals. It's okay to gas them. The comparison I'm making is not to say that this is the same thing. It is to show that, well, the method is the same and the suffering of the victims is the same, although the intention was a different one. And of course, the entire history behind it is a different one. I'm absolutely clear about that, yes, but still the method and the suffering of the victims is the same. All I want to show with this picture is if A is wrong, B has to be wrong too, because both are sentient, both can feel pain and suffering, and nobody should be put in a gas chamber. That's what it is.
That's a very well. I agree. That's very well how you put it at the end there. But it's. I saw this slide, but I never looked carefully what that image is, because as you look from far away, I thought it's like popcorn or something.
Oh, no, these are little baby male chicks. Yeah, because people are like, oh, we're not putting them in the macerator anymore. We don't do that in Germany. No. We suffocate them, or we gas them, or we send them to neighbor countries where we put them in a big blender. So it is just the same bullshit in a different in a different costume. So yeah, let's go to the next picture. I put this here for historical context. This is an image that the Nazis put actually out there to oppress the Jews even more throughout their propaganda. So they said something like, oh, Jews, they are animals, they are not human. This is why they are drinking from the mother sow. That's why they're like sucking on her titties, because they are not human, they are just like animals. So they put the Jews on the same level down to the animals, because animals are below humans, so subhuman. And that's what they also did with the Jews and other people that they oppressed at that time, that they put them on the same level as animals, which made it okay to treat them like animals, because back then we treated the Jews like animals. So in conclusion, we are treating the animals now like we treated the Jews back then.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that.
Yeah, so and there we have two images next to each other. They're just animals, not humans, and they're just animals, not humans, which is the exact same thing that we said about the people we oppressed back then, and which is what we are saying now about the animals that we are oppressing. And so if we understand that A is wrong, we have to make the logical conclusion that B is also wrong, because there is no morally significant difference between these two victims that would justify the different treatment. If it's wrong to put a human in the gas chamber and to gas them to death, it must be wrong to put an animal into the same situation, because they can feel the same way. There's no morally significant difference that would justify the different treatment entity, what we had in the beginning, right? Even if they're cognitively not on the same level and so on, they still feel, they live through it. They have the experience of being gassed to death. They experience that, and you really gotta have the empathy and stop for a second and to think about, like, if you would be in a body that is forced into the situation, that is just like so mind-blowing. Like, if you're really able to imagine that, you really got the problem. You really understand what this is all about. And it is not to diminish someone else. It is to uplift the animals, to put them on a level where people actually recognize their suffering, where people actually recognize them being a victim in that sense, and not just the resource to, oh, it must be gassed to death because they're unfortunately alive in the first place. Damn livestock, you know what I mean? It is so insane.
Yeah.
Okay.
I keep seeing I keep seeing comments about the whole abuse thing and about the so I'll just tell you that, like, I mean, there's, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, Alexandra, but as far as I understand from this folder, right, like, there's obviously I think it's more or less showing you a lot of different perspectives to veganism that work together. They don't work in separation or isolation. Of course, you can use some of them during your activism in isolation if you want, but they work together more than anything, as we're doing it right now, right? Like, as we're going through it, it works together. It doesn't mean, because when we say that using without consent is abuse, doesn't imply that if you get consent, somehow you can't still abuse the animal.
No, of course not.
Like,
of course not.
Yeah, like the whole point isn't that. It's just that it's kind of, I don't know, maybe saying that it's wrong to not use consent, something like that, but it's just using a strong word. And I think I don't know. I personally, I'm okay with it, but yeah, I'm trying to come back to it, because I also, by the way, I also have it over here on me, and I'm going through it as we're going through it.
Okay. Okay, yeah, if there's any outcome of this, let me know, because I want to phrase it in the most perfect way, and I understand if there's something about the word abuse that might not add up or whatever, because of course you can exploit someone and oppress someone without abusing them. That is also possible, I get it. But we have to also be very honest here. We abuse all of these animals, straight up. Oh,
100%.
Oops. I'm sorry, just went up all the way. Hold on. Don't know how that happened.
Don't look, everybody. Don't look.
Don't look.
Nobody
okay. We're already there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know how that happened. I just accidentally hit the keyboard. Okay.
Unacceptable, Alexandra.
Unacceptable. Let's end the live stream. Okay. So let's go to the next page. It says humane. What a good word. So humane means when something is acceptable in the human context, meaning that it is dignified, compassionate, empathetic, ethically defensible, and acts in the interests of the victim. So humane euthanasia means putting an animal to sleep, for example, that is in their best interest to relieve them from suffering. So that is possible, the humane euthanasia. But humane slaughter does not exist. It's an oxymoron because it is not acting in the interest of the animals. It is only acting in our own interest. Hence why we are not bringing our pets to the slaughterhouse when they need to be relieved from their suffering. It is just a blatant lie from these industries to sell you the product so that the consumer feels good about it. So people have to be aware that humane washing is a thing, especially in the animal exploitation industry. So no matter what kind of label is on on a dead animal, nothing humane happened for this to happen. It is impossible to do that. Like, how can you humanely kill someone who doesn't want to die? How can you humanely take the life from someone whose interest is continuing to live their life without pain and suffering and without being oppressed and enslaved and so on? How? So
you cannot.
Yeah, so denying someone's interests in living and killing them based on your own interest is not humane, it's barbaric. For the lack of better wording, but barbaric is what came into my mind, actually, what I think is on point, because it is just barbaric. Like, what are we even talking about, you know? As much as I try to phrase this very accurately and very, like, factually, it is still so emotional, and I think barbaric is a word that we need to use here as well.
Yeah. I would argue, I personally am against humane euthanasia also, putting an animal to sleep in their best interest. I believe
Why?
that because the problem with this is I like clear defined lines, and how can you clearly define that they are in enough suffering that you would take their life? And I see like that could be extremely subjective, and I don't like it when it's like that, because you can have subjective opinions about the stuff you do, but it's hard about someone else. Right? Like if I'm a depressed person, I don't know, maybe not depressed is the right word, but maybe like in pain myself, and I could, like, my dog is in some form of physical pain, but that maybe they're not in that much pain. But then I think, how could they live a life like this? You see what I mean? Like it can leave room for interpretation.
The thing is, what that implies is that you are against humane euthanasia then? So should we just, like, leave the animals, like, die on their own? Let them suffer when we see that they're suffering?
Sadly so, because we can't get consent, right? Like, I would say,
I wouldn't
like,
do that. We're also not doing that in the human context. Sorry for interrupting, but let me just give you a good example, okay? So we cannot always wait for consent, and we have to do something without the consent, or even if it's against their will, you know? For example, if a little child runs around with a scissor in their hands and they run around, we should stop them. We should stop them and take the scissor away to prevent them from harming themselves. Of course, we have to intervene. Of course, they still want to run around, so it's against their will. We don't have their consent, but we have to do that to protect them, right? And so sometimes we have to do that to protect each other. It is more about morally considering everyone, so that we all, hand in hand or hand in paw, slide through existence with the least amount of suffering and with a good experience and whatsoever. And I think especially when it comes to animals, where we have the medical possibilities to detect if they are suffering, if there is a way that we can save them or make them feel better or whatever, we have to use all of our resources to make sure that we know their state and if it can be better or if it can be fixed or not. And then we have to make rational, smart decisions and think, if I would be in that position, what would I wish for myself? Because our cat that we had to euthanize last year in January, for example, he got a tumor under his tongue, which means that he wasn't able to eat anymore. And the only solution would have been to cut out his tongue because the tumor was so big. And so he would have starved either way. There was no other possibility. And so, of course, we had to euthanize him because he was getting thinner and thinner, and he was not himself anymore. And you could feel that he was okay with that too. And that's why we decided, okay, we cannot let him suffer. We cannot let him starve to death right now. And so we decided to have a callback with the vet, and then the vet came here and got him the syringe, and then he fall asleep in my arm, and he died in my arms. And so I think sometimes we have to be responsible. We have to take this responsibility and care for others out of solidarity.
You're right. And I think somebody also mentioned that Richard said it can be subjective, but there are medical thresholds for suffering. So yeah, if there is some,
yes.
I just hate it when there is, when we rely on making decisions solely on subjectivity, but as long as we take approaches to get closer to objectivity, closer to a more objective truth. Of course, it's never going to be fully objective, right? But the closer we get to it, the better it is. So in that sense, maybe I agree with you. In another sense, I have trouble agreeing fully with that whole statement without some form of extra mention, but you don't have to add that to the folder. I just wanted to put it out there myself.
Yeah, because, it's fine. It's fine. I get it. I think it's the entirety of information that we have to walk through to see what about consent, what is in their best interest, what kind of role do we have? Are we playing? What is our responsibility? Can we do that? Can we allow them to do this? It is so many factors. But I think once we have the right meaning of that in all of our head, I think we will be able to make good decisions in the interest of others, as long as we are not having the intention of oppressing them. I think it should be fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry so Pia said also this is kind of what I have seen also at some point. Some people have their senior dog humanely euthanized just because he's old, when it could well be that they can't really be bothered to take care of their senior dog. I have heard of this. It's not, I haven't met anybody do this. Yeah, but I have heard of this. Yeah. And it is shitty. I can agree. I agree with you on that one. And by the way, on the idea of abuse, I think people just have a problem with the word more than anything. So everybody, if you have small problems with the words, you can mention them, but we can also move on, because we're not even halfway. We're almost halfway, so we got to get there.
But the rest is quicker. The rest is a little quicker, okay? I mean, it's a vegan talk here mostly, so it's about people to understand and to have these questions as well. And the ethical part is the biggest one, so it's fine. Okay, so let's go to the next page then. So
I agree with the previous one.
Talking about humane. So when we do it, let's just assume, that's why I tell the non-vegan, let's just assume that the person on the left has the same cognitive ability as the person on the right, as the cow. So they're both cognitively on the same level. Okay, they're both healthy. They are both just the same. Okay, just the outward appearance is a little different. So when we would shoot the human in the head, we would say it's murder, and when we shoot a cow or any other animal in the head, we say it's humane. Doesn't add up. Doesn't make any sense. It's a humane washing lie. And people usually agree. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Non-Vegan?
I agree. Wait.
Do it.
I agree.
Okay, perfect. So let's go to the next page then. Now comes the next part. So we are done with the ethical part. We are done with the basic stuff that should lay the groundwork for people to understand that we should consider animals because they are just like us in the ways that matter. And we should not morally exclude them because of the differences that they are, because they're morally insignificant, first of all. So, and now we come to the part that is about the facts, that just shows the different animal exploitation industries in the big 5 categories, which are food, clothing, research, entertainment, and the pet breeding industry. And because we are exploiting bunnies in all of these, I chose the white rabbit as a symbol for all the other animals, because we eat them, we wear them, we use them for entertainment, we test on them, and we use them as pets. It is absolutely insane. What a roller coaster of human cognitive dissonance. It is so wild. Okay, so let's start with food. I'm having this on the top part. Let me show you what it looks like in print. So we have this. Because when I open this page where it starts with the breeding and what we do to these animals, I want people to make the connection visually, that when they see these products, they're associated with this. I want this. This is why I put it there. So when I open this, people make the connection, even when it looks so nice. Yes, also AI images, by the way. Even if the milk and dairy stuff and the meat, it looks for some people maybe nice and like a fresh product or whatever, still the bottom picture is showing this. It shows the sperm extraction without consent. It shows the artificial insemination without consent. That's why I explained all these words beforehand, so that people understand why it is important to think about it in that way. Because if we would do it in the human context, we would call it rape. We would do it like this. If someone would artificially inseminate me without my consent, I would call it rape. If someone would jerk off another man without their consent, it would be considered rape. It is so clear. But when it comes to these animals, bestiality is all of a sudden okay. And this is where the entire problem starts. It starts with breeding these animals into existence to oppress and exploit them. It starts because people are creating the demand, and it starts. It already starts with heavily bodily abuse. It starts with getting fisted. It starts with your genitals being manipulated by a human hand. Imagine that. Imagine that. It is so crazy that we have to explain to people that we shouldn't do this. Okay. So for the next page, do you have any questions?
No, there's also like the giant
They're
dildo that I
tutorials.
found. Yeah.
Yeah,
the
the anal dildo. Yeah. I'm telling people about that too. But usually, because we have to agree that all of this is a huge info dump, right? Usually, I try
Yeah.
to stick to the bare minimum of information that I'm giving out to these people, so they get an overall image, they get the main problem, and then I continue. Okay.
Makes sense.
So for the next, we have the mutilation, the burning of the horns, so that the product is not damaging other products. Then we have the breeding for specific traits for human benefit. It's all of these animals, they shouldn't exist at all. Like, these are not natural animals whatsoever. We genetically modified them so that they have different traits, so that they give more milk that they would potentially produce for their own offspring. And so, yeah, people are not aware, but none of these animals, they should be phased out. They should not exist anymore. They're like human Frankenstein animals, absolutely insane. When you have any questions, just say stop. I will run through, because it's mostly just factual dropping right now, okay?
No, I don't have any questions. I just want to clarify one thing.
Yeah.
The reason, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, the reasons why we show these pictures isn't because we want to make it about harm, or it's still about exploitation. I just think that these pictures kind of outline an image of just how serious what's happening in animal agriculture. It kind of like puts things into perspective a little bit more, and it gets people, because a lot of people don't really understand what exploitation is. They don't really understand why is it exploitation bad or something. A lot of people think that as long as you give them food, it's okay to use them however you want. Like, there's a lot of people who think that way, sadly. So yeah.
And it's also because it's a violation of their right? I mean, to mutilate someone, to cut a body part off, to burn it down or whatever, it is something that we wouldn't accept to be done to us if it's not with consent, like body modification or whatever, but that's a different topic. But when it comes to these things, like, we wouldn't like it on ourselves, so why are we doing it to others for optional products, for something trivial? Crazy. And so it is to build up the emotional baggage as well, because people should feel guilty and people should be very uncomfortable with being not vegan, and these pictures really do help. That's why I put them in here, to show the standard practices, which they all are. So we don't show the bad stuff, it's the standard stuff. Okay. So on the next page, we have the kidnapping and the isolation, as we know, because of course, the children are not supposed to drink the milk of their mothers, and the boys are useless to the industries. That's why we kill them or raise them for veal. And the females, they get in the same cycle as their mothers. They get repeatedly impregnated, babies stolen, mother milk stolen. And in the end, when they're not getting pregnant anymore, we send them to the slaughterhouse to decapitate them. And that's the life cycle of a so-called dairy cow. Absolutely insane. One of the worst industries on this planet. They're all bad. They're all bad. Don't get me wrong. but for some reason, maybe because I lost my mother when I was 17, I have a very strong feeling about cows. It is just something that is so inhumane. It is just to steal a child after birth from someone, you know, to take their mother's milk is so fucking awful. It is just so fucking awful on an emotional level for a mother, I guess. So yeah, it is intense. And so then we have the slaughter of the unborn and their mothers in the slaughterhouse, because some mothers, of course, they arrive in the slaughterhouse and they're still pregnant because the farmers, they don't check they're pregnant, or they're like downer cows. So they are weak in general, but they're pregnant, but then it would be more profitable to cut their heads off right now. So you have to understand, all of these animals are sent to the slaughterhouse when they are the most profitable. Yes. So when the farmer will get the most money for their flesh, they will be sent off to the slaughterhouse. As soon as the production declines, as soon as they lose their worth, their money, their financial worth, farmers will send them off. So when the animals are the most profitable, we slit their throat, we cut them, we electrocute them, we put them in gas chambers and so on. So then, as I said, the killing of the male calves, because they're considered a byproduct in these industries. Sometimes they shoot them on the farm, sometimes they send them to the slaughter, sometimes they raise them for veal, but they are not growing
Sometimes they let them
old.
starve. Sometimes they
Yeah,
just let them starve.
yeah. Let's not forget about that. Sometimes they just also put them in bags and
or
suffocate them.
asphyxiate. Yeah, I've heard about that recently. That's
Yeah, if they're really small, sometimes they do that. They especially do that with the chicks. So the next one, it's the same. Yes, thank you for showing. It's to make the connection for the people that, yeah, yummy, the egg of a bird looks nice whatsoever. And also maybe their legs, it may look nice because you're so used to it. But it is absolutely not acceptable. Yes, I think people saw it right now. Okay. So then we have the mutilation again, and the breeding for specific traits for human benefit. Of course, I showed the two different breeds that we have. We have the egg-laying hen, and we have the so-called broiler chickens, which we are going to use for meat. So all of these birds are bred for different traits, because we don't have one species where the females are laying a lot of eggs and the males are getting big and fat. We don't have that species. That's why we have two. We bred two species. One is specifically laying a lot of eggs, and they lose all of the nutrients throughout laying these eggs, and we cut their beaks off so that they don't peck at each other and that they don't hurt the other products, so that they don't damage the other products. You have to remember that everything that is done in these industries is to protect the product, to make the most profit. It is the same with stunning these larger animals, but I will say something about that later. And so with the so-called broiler chicken, you can see they are so overweight within 45 days that they can't even stand on their own legs. They have usually like 95% of them have broken legs all the time. Especially like when they don't have broken legs throughout their life, it's at least in the moment when they get picked up by the legs and hung up to be put into the electric water bath. That's why they break their legs. I mean, it is what it is, right? Because they're handled very roughly, because people have to carry them very quickly. And so all of these birds are really, really destroyed all the time. Yeah, food. Thank you.
You know, Alex, when I went to a sanctuary where they rescue birds from farmers. They literally buy them before, like egg-laying hens, and the farmer that sold them the birds was keeping them by the legs, and like a couple of birds had broken legs because
it is.
It's insane, huh? Like they don't,
it
like
is.
farmers don't care about them at all.
Of course they don't. Of course they don't.
Objects.
Of course.
Literally, they see them as objects.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's insane. So yes, that's also one of the double pages. That's the top one. Yes. I put it there just to get this information out there, because many people don't know. And I just want to make sure that people understand that the egg is a period product of a bird. So it's not the same as me having my period. It's not the same, but it is also a period product, which means that the egg comes from the ovary, then it goes down this entire tract, and then there is an exit. It's a different exit than with humans. So this is just one exit where everything comes out all at once. So when they pee, when they poo, and also the egg, it's one one exit, but it's still a period product. It's just a different shape, and it's just, of course, a different cycle a little bit because it's a hen, it's a bird, it's not a human, it's not a mammal, but still period product. And here we can see it. It's called Kloake in German. I'm not sure what it's called in English, but
Kloake is exactly the same. Yeah.
Yes, and they have a continuous cycle. So you have to understand that these animals are bred into existence to have their period their entire life, and they lose all of their nutrients. And because we don't feed them the eggs back, which all of these chickens, they love eating their own eggs back because of the nutrients, they usually like lose all of their feathers. They have these very not red, very pale thingies on top. I don't know how to say it in English right now. What's this thing called on the head? But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know I also don't know what it's called. I always wondered. It's very cute, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah. And on the right, we have the blender. Thank God this is not video footage because it's so fucking brutal. But you can still see the one little chick, the screen grab that I took. I was really like going frame by frame to get the screenshot where we have like this little male chick being blended up alive on the first day of life. So we're grinding up, gassing, suffocating, electroshocking the male chicks because they're byproducts. So every time when you buy eggs, you support that. And even if it's backyard eggs, because many people are saying like, oh, but I know someone at backyard eggs and I don't buy from factory farms. 98% of the people are telling me this. Isn't it fun? But then we always have to say, you know, you still got to ask yourself, where are these chickens coming from? They were brought from a breeder in most situations, right? What happens to them when they're not laying eggs anymore? And why don't you feed the eggs back to them? Like, we shouldn't just eat them. We shouldn't just eat their eggs. Like we've brought them into a mess like this, and they need all their nutrients back. We shouldn't breed them into existence. We should let them eat their own eggs to at least get some back, and then just like be vegan. I don't get why people want to so desperately eat eggs. Just don't.
It's just a form of bargaining more than anything. It's a form of not changing completely. It's a little bit like, I'm afraid to change, so therefore I'll try to bargain. Maybe I'll change a little bit or something.
Yeah, it is. Okay. So same here, gelatine and pig's ass in a sausage form.
I'll show it.
Yeah,
Wait.
you got to show this. Yeah, on top.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah, on top there we have this. Yeah, and on the bottom we have this, which shows the artificial insemination without consent again, and also mutilation, because we cut their tails so that they don't start to chew at each other's tails. And we're also cutting out the testicles so that they don't reproduce, actually, because we want to be in control of their reproduction system, right? Right? So, and that's what we do. And this is where it all starts. Also, I've been to a pig breeding facility this year, and I've seen it with my own eyes, and I've seen and filmed terrible things, and it was absolutely horrifying. They cannot move, the mothers, and the one mother wanted to move, and she actually was slipping with her feet, and she crashed onto 3 of her babies in front of my eyes, and I couldn't do anything about it because there was a window in between us. And so I was filming that. Actually, it was horrifying. And I don't know how anyone could try to, you know, justify doing that when you have the option not to. I don't understand. So yeah,
I saw it when I was a child. I saw them cutting the tails and the balls of pigs.
Ooh.
And they said, "Oh, it's okay. It only hurts a little bit, and then they'll be fine." That's what they told me, you know. But it always seemed like awful, just awful.
Even if it wouldn't hurt, why are we doing it? We're doing it not in their own interest. We're doing it because we want them to not reproduce. We want them to not damage the product again, to eat the tails off, to cannibalize in each other, to get they are completely crazy, yes, but then they're not cannibalizing, at least, although they're eating each other's ears quite often. And so, yeah, it is not in their interest at all to breed them into existence, to kill them. To create life, to kill them is psychotic.
I mean, I saw it at my grandma's backyard, in my grandma, where they say, oh, it's humane or whatever. But the pigs never saw the light of day. They always were kept inside. And it's the same in Netherlands.
Usually they see the sunlight on their last day when they are transported to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah, in Romania it gets so much worse. When they have a tradition to kill the pigs for Christmas, and after they kill them, after they kill the pig, they put the little kids on the pig to take the photo with the dead pig and stuff.
It is absolutely insane. By the way, there is a good documentary. It's a short one. It's called 6 Months. And I think the O is the 6. So when you write M6NTHS, you should look it up.
I see.
It's from the perspective of a little piglet. It's one of the saddest things I've ever seen. It's also very brilliantly done. So cinematography is very 10 out of 10. I can recommend, but it will make you cry for sure. It made me cry. I can remember. Yeah, it's really from their perspective. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. So then we have the ones that are beaten to death because they're too small or too weak. They're considered a byproduct on the left page. So usually like these little piglets that are too sick or too weak, they get taken by their legs, not the ones in front, but the ones on the back, Hinterbeine, hinder legs. I don't know how to say, but the legs, and then they take them and thrash them on the concrete floor because that's the legal practice of what is allowed to be done to get rid of the byproduct, to not waste any time and stuff. And for the big pigs, because it is the cheapest way to stun them in that way, to gas them until they're not conscious anymore, is to put them in a gas chamber. So this is what we have on the right side. I'm sure you've also seen footage like this. It is absolutely terrifying, absolutely insane that this is something that we have to discuss even with people, like putting someone in a gas chamber, yes or no, should we do it or not? Like, what are we even talking about? I don't understand. So yeah, and we shouldn't do that, absolutely not. And also, that's what I wanted to say about these bigger animals, about pigs and cows and sheep and whatsoever. So the bigger mammals that we are killing, they get only stunned because otherwise it would be very hard for the slaughterhouse workers to handle them, to kill them, to slit their throat. Imagining you hang a cow fully conscious upside down, imagine, and then you should cut their throat, and then they're thrashing around. Of course, they're hurting the workers. Of course, they're hurting the slaughterhouse workers. Of course, the production slows down when it's like this. So the reason why these animals are getting stunned before slaughter is not because of animal welfare. Of course, it's very nice to use that as an argument, right? Because it's just so humane. But it is done so that the workers are not getting hurt, that the production line is faster, that the products are not damaging themselves or other products that are hanging next to them. And so all of these stunning methods are not in the interest of the animals at all. Of course not. They're in a gas chamber. They're about to get their throat slit. None of that happens in their interest. But the entire thing, even like the stunning itself, is solely done for the industry itself to make profit, to make more profit. Yeah,
it's just horrible. It's just
yeah.
Yeah, never mind. Let's go on. There's a lot. I have a lot of.
Welcome to Dominion 3.0.
Yeah.
Welcome to Dominion. Or like Earthling 1, Dominion 2, and this is the third part, I guess. But yeah. So the next part, we have another bird, a bigger one. Yeah, short like this. Because many people are forgetting about feathers as well, and feathers are really like very common for a lot of things actually, like especially like for beds or for decoration, for like carnival things, for costumes, whatever, like for pet play stuff, toys. Feathers are used everywhere all the time. Once you see it, you will notice. And what has to be done for feathers? So we have to grow a bird, of course. At first, we have to breed them into existence again. And then once they have their full first feathers, we pluck them out while they're fully conscious and alive, of course. And then all of that gets very, how to say, entzündet. I'm missing the word right now. I'm a little lightheaded because there's food in front of me and not eating it. Yeah, it gets infected. It gets infected, and I have okay. So and their scalp gets infected because you rip out all of these feathers. You have to understand, when a bird is losing a feather, it's one feather, and it's very thick in the end. You know how thick feathers can be and how spiky they are, right? And it hurts for the bird if one feather grows back once. Okay, but when you remove all of the feathers and all of them grow back at once, it's extremely painful for these birds. It's extremely itchy. They get a lot of infections and stuff. But once they grow back, they will rip them out again. They will rip them out, and then they do it a couple of times. And when these birds are done, we decapitate them, replace them with a new bird. Or what we are also doing with geese, we are force feeding them for the fatty liver, which a lot of people are already opposing, but then they eat other animals, which doesn't make any sense. And we are fattening them for more meat. So we're making them liver sick to eat their liver. What else is there to say?
It's I would say there are birds do have a molting season. I had to look it up, and it is they do lose a lot of the feathers, but it doesn't happen all at once, and not all birds molt at the same time. So they do have their feathers ripped off of them a lot of, like, either partially or completely for some of the birds. So yes, it is still just as bad.
Yes, and like with any other animal exploitation industry, they have to work very quickly because of profit. And so, of course, they don't care about the well-being of these animals. They're not doing it very softly. Even that wouldn't be better anyway, but they're doing it very rapidly, like very quickly, because they have to produce a certain amount of feathers per hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go to the next one. Okay, now we have the exploitation for clothing. So we have wool products here, and we also have a little lamb's leg. Of course, it's not clothing, but it's kind of like here comes in the clothing exploitation as well, now that we've exploited them for food. So we have also mutilation and sharing for speed, for profit. The mutilation with lambs especially is because when we don't cut their tail, there's a lot of bacteria that will stick under the long tail, and then they get infections, and then it's a little expensive to treat that. And so they just cut it off in the beginning so that they don't get these infections in the first place. And that's that. And because we bred these sheep and lambs to that extent that they grow a lot of wool, that means, usually these animals in nature, they have like a very flat skin where the wool is actually growing from. But we bred them so that their skin has waves, so that we have a bigger surface where wool is produced. You know what I mean? And so when we share them, it's also done very quickly for profit. They do it so quickly, and when you have like waves on your skin, of course they will cut off some of your skin, because it's not smooth to share it off. You will cut off some of the skin, hence why it's so bloody on the picture. And I've seen so many sharing images and videos especially, and it's all the same. It's super quick, and you can see like skin flying around. It is absolutely insane. So
it is
for wool products that we don't need. Okay. So now we have the leather and fur production, whatever the euphemism is, right? So we have skin with hair, which is called pelt or fur, and we have skin without hair, which we call leather. It's the same product. One is with, one is without the hair. And that's why, it is so weird, because when you go out, most people are against fur, but then they wear leather. It's the same. It's not a byproduct, leather or whatever. Like the meat, dairy, and leather industry, it's all one big industry. They all work perfectly together like clockwork, so it's not a byproduct or whatsoever. The leather industry is profiting off of the dairy industry and the meat industry, and vice versa. So they're all profiting from each other, and none of that is a byproduct. There is a demand for leather products. There are animals that are killed for their leather, and their meat is sold for pet food whatsoever. So it's not that we use one animal whatsoever. It is, these industries all make money because there is a demand. And because people are buying these products. These are not byproducts. These are industries in themselves that all work linked together and help each other to make more profit and to market and to sell and whatever. And so don't get fooled. It's the same product. And if you're against fur, why are you wearing it without hair? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
It actually, I was at the fur protest, and somebody said, came to us and said, like, I like what you're doing. We're not, I hate the idea of fur. And there was this child who was actually at the protest with us, and he goes, is that bag leather? And she goes like,
Yeah, but I
ran
mean,
away instantly.
yeah, and I get when people say like, oh, now I turned vegan, but I have so many leather things, I want to wear them out and I want to blah, 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 blah. Yeah. The thing is, in the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what do you want to put out in the world? Are you feeling comfortable where you go out wearing the skin of someone else who was exploited and killed for that without their consent? Would you do it in the human context as well? And I was asking myself these questions. I was asking myself, if I would get one of the, or just imagine, because it happened, okay? Like where we were at the Jews and the Nazis, there were these lamps that they found that are made from the skin of humans from the Nazis. So they made a lamp shade out of human skin. And now picture this. What if someone has that lamp and is like, oh, but I have it. I want to still use it because otherwise it's not sustainable. So I will put it in my living room and I will use it. Would it be a little odd, or would everyone be okay with it? Because frankly, it's not okay. It's a very Hannibal thing to do, and we should reject it. Even like the principle of it, even like the symbolic gesture of it, we should just like reject it. In my personal opinion, like if you don't have the money to replace all the leather things, I completely get it. But I stopped wearing them the second my brain got like, oh my God, it's the skin of someone else. It is literally the skin of someone. I don't want to run around with the skin of someone else. It's just not what I want to do, what I want to send out in the world. I don't feel comfortable doing that. And that's just my note on that.
I don't know, Alexandra. When my parents die, I'll rip off their skin and make some nice socks out of it. I don't know.
Okay.
Makes sense. Okay? I'm kidding, by the way. I'm kidding.
I will leave now.
Okay. I really have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry, but can we? I'll just be 1 minute. I'll do.
Oh my God! Now I have to entertain the masses, and I don't see comments or anything.
Entertain them. You can continue if you want, like, because I can hear you.
We will see. I think we can turn your microphone off. Not that we.
No, the microphone is separate, by the way. Okay, fine. I'll just to be safe, I'll leave the headphones here.
Go. It's okay. Go. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that you liked it so far. If you have any questions about it or want to give me any feedback, as I said, message me. Just drop a message. I'm also on Instagram. I don't know if Chip has linked it in the description. I do have an English Instagram. I'm not that active at the moment with my English Instagram because I'm doing so much German activism, but I'm planning on getting back to it because I really want to get all of my English content out as well. So feel free to follow me there too. But I'd say in the meantime, we can continue, right? I mean, Chip is already vegan, so he knows about all of that. So let's continue. So the next part is the killing part. Let me show you how it looks like in print. From now on, it's getting like even like just more graphic. Okay, so the top part, as you can see, is showing this, and in total, it looks like this. So let me show you the next side then. So here I just put some ham and I just put some beef, because now we're in the slaughterhouse where all animals are ending up. I just introduced to them the next page, the killing page. And there we have the stunning, which we already addressed multiple times, which is often ineffective. Of course, it's not most of the time ineffective, but it is very often ineffective. And when you look at the numbers, like the individual numbers, it is far too often, in effect. Even we shouldn't do that in the first place, but you get what I want to say, right? So we have, for example, the electric stunning, we have the gas chamber stunning, we have the bolt gun stunning, we have the suffocation is not a stunning, it's a killing. And then we have the slaughter, which, of course, if the stunning is not working properly, which happens quite often, the slaughter happens while they're fully conscious. So that means if you didn't get knocked out in the best way possible, so if you're still a little bit there, you will experience and you will live through being decapitated, being cut in half. And that is what a lot of animals have to, like each year, so many animals have to live through that. It is a nightmare. It's literally material out of hell. It is absolutely insane that this is the standard. And it's halal. Yes, let's not forget about it. I have a halal picture on the next page too.
Give me a second. Yes. Let me thank somebody who made a donation just to Vegan Cannibal says, thanks for creating this YouTube space. Everything we do as vegans is a powerful step forward toward a kinder, healthier world. Your efforts inspire us all to keep spreading compassion and making a difference. Thank you so much, Vegan Cannibal, for the donation. Actually,
Yes.
Alexandra, I've been meaning to say, and I'll say it here, if I have guests on my stream, I will, any donations that you make, I will split them because I don't think it's fair to just have them myself. So
that's so sweet
owe
of
you,
you.
I owe you half of that. So
You owe me a coffee now.
I owe you a coffee. Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay.
So yes, let's continue.
Okay.
Thank you so much for the donation, by the way. Yes.
Yeah. So now that we arrived in a slaughterhouse where all animals will line up that we exploit for the said industries that I just showed you, yeah, we have the slaughter, which is completely brutal. So any one of you who's not vegan and listening, by the way, how many people are watching?
38.
Okay, good. Statistically, there might be non-vegan under them. So if there's any non-vegan watching that, please, 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 please watch Dominion on YouTube. Make your mind up. Like, look at it, look at victims, like see how they're getting killed. It is absolutely brutal, and everyone should be educated on that and just see for themselves. Okay. So, and then we have the humane watching.
Don't just accept what society tells you. It's okay.
Yeah, absolutely not. So then we have the next I just showed here. On top, we have the humane washing part where I put all the labels that people usually know. So for the German version, of course, I put the German animal welfare labels on it. But here I put the RSPCA labels on it, the red tractor labels, because most people that are speaking English know about these at least. So in UK or America, RSPCA and red tractor are certified labels that they know. But they don't mean shit. Okay, so let's clarify. So even if it says like organic, animal welfare, animal protection, they have a bigger cage, they have good food, they have a free life, blah, blah, a free life in quotation marks, right? All of these animals wind up in a slaughterhouse as soon as they are the most profitable or in that sense not profitable anymore. It's the same in that sense, right? So when they bring the most amount of money, they will be sent to the slaughter and decapitated and replaced with a new animal that brings more money again, you know.
It's so literally exploitation one-on-one. They use them. If they can use them, they use them, and when they're no longer profitable, they send them to a slaughterhouse, or they use them until they're profitable, the most profitable, as you said.
Yes.
Very well.
And today I was just thinking about the word exploit because someone told me, like, I translated now in English. Oh, but when you say that animals are exploited, you're already starting a very biased debate. And I was losing my mind actually, because this is the dehumanization. This is the they're not even victims, you know, argument that people bring up, and I fucking hate it because how dare you to trivialize what the animals are living through? Like, I don't know if the English word has the same meaning, but in the German word ausbeuten, it literally means that you have a Beute in the end. So you're taking something that is yours. That is ausbeuten. You take Beute raus aus something. I don't know how to explain. But in the English word, I can imagine that it means the same, to have a worth, a value, and you take it out from them. So you take it, it's external from them, then you know what I mean? So the exploitation just means that you literally take something out from them and make it yours. And I think that is absolutely crazy. So in German, it really works very well with the word. In English, I'm not sure.
I don't know the etymology of it, but it just says...
but it is exploitation. It is so... If this is not exploitation, what on earth is? What on earth is? If this is not exploit, to literally commodify the entire body of someone, all body functions, everything that they can do, that they will grow, that they will have, their life, their skin, their eggs, their feathers, their wool, their milk, their children, everything, and then they end their life, right? Insane.
I mean, it's insane. Like, if you think about it, the reality is that I think most farmers hate that animals are alive or sentient, right? They just...
Of course. Unfortunately,
it's kind of in their way. Yeah, it's kind of in their way, right? Like, for them, they just want to use them and for the products that they give. Or what are you eating, by the way?
Stones and grass. So that's...
Let me see if I can make it fit. Stones and
stones and grass. So that's peanut butter tofu with spinach and sesame and sexy noodles. So I don't know how to. Yeah, it's super delicious. But I will go through because now there comes the most brutal part. I don't want to start eating now, but I want to move it closer to me, the food. It feels comfortable.
Yeah, so you can smell it better. That's a good idea.
I can smell it better. It smells so good already. Okay, so let's continue then.
I have something similar, by the way, today. So that's after this.
Show this because it's a double image. Yeah. It's a double image. Yeah, so I want to show it because I put it on two. Yeah, I put it on both, so it has a big effect in life. So when people see it on both sides, so it just shows a slaughterhouse from the inside. On the top, I will still explain it here. It shows all these dairy cows hanging from their legs, and they got stunned, as we discussed before, right? So they are not hurting the workers there, as you can see, because imagine them thrashing around, and they would they could kill a worker, when they would do that. Yeah. So
they're
on
big
the bottom,
animals.
Yeah, of course, they are like very big animals. And on the bottom, you can literally see like the blood splashing. Just imagine that these places exist, and people think that vegans are extreme. These places like this exist, hell on earth, like a big flesh machine. You know what I mean? That is like cutting down flesh every second and like boiling blood and whatever. It is so insane. And so yeah, this is why I had to put this in there, because this is one of the most emotional pictures that I've ever seen outside from the inside of a slaughterhouse. It is absolutely disgusting.
I use it a lot in my activism, this photo. I open it a lot to it. Like I literally tell people, really, this is what you're defending.
I saw it on your live stream, and I was really happy because this really touched me emotionally too. When I saw it the first time, I was just like, holy fucking shit, what on earth are we doing? It is so fucking insane. Like the cutest.
By the way, animals. Alexandra, when these images are a bit like explicit, because I can see what comes up. We can't go a little bit faster on them. We don't have to stay so much, because a lot of the people are vegan. Yeah, a lot of people are vegan here, and
okay, I just want to say what I say to the non-vegans when I show it to them. Okay, so I will go quickly. Okay, so the next one, halal. This is where I say like, so this is halal. It's basically slitting throats without anything. It is what it is. And I've seen a lot of halal footage. Everything is shitty. None of that is good. No justification. It's brutal. Okay, so. Next one.
Thank you. That was the worst image out of all of them for me.
It is really, really disgusting, So, but these ones are also very, very hard on my stomach, because we have, a very emotional one where we can see. I don't want to say that the animals are not the first victims. They are always the very first victims, of course, but also the slaughterhouse workers are also victims of the system, because most of these people are not choosing these jobs because they really want to do it. It's because they don't have any other option, or because they got tricked into do that. There's a lot of like with Tönnies, the biggest meat producer in Germany, there's an undercover investigation out there, and they actually tricked people into working there, and then they took their passes and they cannot leave and they have to work there, and it's slavery with extra steps. So they're exploiting humans as well, like from Romania actually. They're really like looking for the poorest people and make them like an offer. Oh, you will have a great job and an apartment and blah, 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 blah. And then they have to live in an apartment with 10 other people in one room, and they don't have a pass, and then they have to work 20 hours a day or whatever. It is absolutely insane. So if anyone is listening that is speaking German, listen to the podcast Zeitverbrechen and listen to the episode that is called Schattenmenschen. It is really explaining it in detail, and it's terrifying. It's terrifying. But yeah, in these situations, we still have to acknowledge that even in these situations, these animals don't know what is going on. They're in a new surrounding. It is unnatural to them. Like no animal understands the concept of a slaughterhouse. They don't understand metal bars around them. They don't understand. How could they, right? So they're even then in their last moments looking for a contact, looking for help, looking for an answer. And this is why this cow is looking to the hand. Maybe wants to lick the hand of the slaughterhouse worker to get any form of emotional feedback on that, and then we have to terrorize them. We have to terrorize these animals. We have to shoot them in the head. We have to take what is most what is the most for them? It's their life, you know. And I think terror is the perfect word that describes it, because we are terrorizing these animals. If it's not terrorizing, what is it? And
It
so,
is.
yeah.
It is a very good word, because indeed that is what
Yeah.
we do to them. And if you see any of this footage on how they get into that box and how they want to trash and leave, and I mean, I can't imagine like the workers also how they do it. I think it's also very mentally hard on everybody.
Of course it is. That's why the suicide and domestic violence rates and the alcoholism rates and everything is like spiked within slaughterhouse workers. That's why they also separate very strictly between each department within a slaughterhouse. So the people that are actually packaging the chopped up animals, they've never seen an animal being slaughtered inside a slaughterhouse. They are not able to do that because they really separate it. They want as the least amount of people to actually get in contact, to actually do that, because they know how shitty it is. And I've seen a film, it's a German film, but it's such a good one, where they actually were interviewing slaughterhouse workers, and you could see clear as daylight. You could see in all of their faces, they know what they're doing is wrong. They know. They fucking know. All of them know. They don't feel good about it, and all of them lie to themselves. And if they're not lying to themselves, this one person, he looked so guilty, he didn't feel comfortable doing it, and he really looked pale and sick and really traumatized. He actually looked traumatized because this is what he was doing, and there was no way out for him. And so it is an absolute nightmare what we built on Earth. Slaughterhouses are the worst place on Earth, in my opinion. Like for anyone to be as a worker, as an animal, as anyone. Yeah.
I completely agree. It's just it's the way I see them a lot of the times is these black holes of, like, you know, I look on Google Maps, and if you think where there's a slaughterhouse, it's just this black hole of awfulness where destroys everybody. The rest of humanity,
Yes.
the rest of society we built looks clean and nice. It looks clean, but not
No.
necessarily. Anyway.
Okay, so, and we're doing it at a fraction of the lifespan. I usually say to the non-vegan, if I'm in a one-on-one conversation where I'm not in an outreach, I usually say you can take a photo of this so that they can see and look at the stats for themselves later. So
Good point.
I don't have to explain to the people watching right now. You can clearly see what is meant by that, right?
I never ask people to take a photo, but that's a good point. They should take a photo of this. This is a good thing to take a photo of.
Yes. And then some people are still coming up with, yeah, but lions do it. Isn't it okay if lions do it? And I'm like, no, it's not okay, because a lion must act on instinct. They lack moral agency, so they are moral patients, but not moral agents. So they are not able to cognitively rationalize, to think of the consequences of their actions, to maybe think of alternatives or whatever. They are not able to do that on that level that we are able to do that. But we don't have to act on any instinct whatsoever. Like, I'm not getting like this when I see an animal that I want to jump on and eat them. Like, we don't have that in us. It is so insane. Like, just try to catch a squirrel and eat them from head to toe with eyes and fur and anus, and see how carnivore you are. And so we possess moral agency, and we can make rational decisions, and we can rationalize, and we shouldn't look into nature. It's a natural fallacy. We shouldn't look into nature to say that to look where our morals should come from. It is absolutely insane. And I think everyone who was in a conversation with a non-vegan has been encountering the lion argument, and so it is always funny. Like, would you also say like, oh, because lions rape other lions, we should be able to go around rape people? Of course not. So why?
But you have
Why pick and choose?
canines. You have canines, Alexandra. Admit it.
Yeah,
So
so
that,
big. And I also have claws, right? I mean, look at my claws. I mean, if it's not me who can like kill and rip someone to shreds with them, who else could? So clearly I'm a carnivore, but also can still rationalize that. So why should I hunt someone else down if I don't have to? If I have this.
Have you heard the argument? But if you don't do it, someone else will.
Oh. I'm losing my mind.
It's no, we don't have to. You don't have to outreach me right now. I get it.
You're okay. When you think you've heard it all, then people come up with things like that. Also, the one that you told me where I was visiting you, like Circle of Nature, though, I told
Oh, a
Flo
circle of nature.
he was laughing his ass off, because usually it's like, yeah, but nature, though, like naturalistic fallacy or circle of life, but Circle of Nature was a new one. Circle of Nature was a new one. That was funny. Okay.
Circle of
So
nature.
let's go to the other hours where we exploit animals, that they are getting a little shorter now, because they're of course not as big, because usually people don't buy meds 3 times a day, but they do that with food, hence why food is a bigger topic here. So, but we still exploit animals for research, of course, and we do it for cosmetic, household items and similar products that are tested on animals. And we're also doing experiments and trials for basic research, drug development, surgical techniques, etc., that are conducted on animals. So, of course, suicide fallacy again. Of course, there will be a point where we might have to take a med that will save our life, but that has been tested on animals and that we don't have any alternative. Doesn't mean that we can't take this medicine. If we still want to be vegan, we would still be vegan, but we should always ask our doctor if there is a vegan alternative. Is it really necessary that I take it? Or is this the only solution that I have right now at hand? And if it's the only solution, then you have to take that medicine. Then you have to. It doesn't mean that you're not vegan anymore. It is still within the definition of veganism as far as practicable and possible. Doesn't mean that this part of the definition gives us a loophole to a free pass to run around and to be like, oh, it's a little inconvenient now, and that's why I buy this sausage right now, because I don't have a vegan sausage. It's not on the same level as needing meds for survival. That's the threshold that we have, and if we don't want to get into a suicide fallacy, we absolutely have to say this is where we have to take it then. Yes, and for any other thing, we have to look for alternatives that are not tested on animals and that are not so that animals are not used for experiments, especially curiosity experiments. They should be abolished right now. Nobody should be allowed to experiment on any animals out of curiosity. Like, oh, I want to see what happens if I set a mouse on fire. I want to see how they react. That is so insane, and we shouldn't be allowed to torture animals, because all animal testing is inherently torture. That is what animal testing is. That is the inherence of it. That is what it is. We're torturing animals. We're making them sick. We're testing animal products on them. We're testing items. And we're making experiments on them whatsoever. That is animal research, is torture itself. This is why I can understand that people like the ALF actually stormed like these research labs and smashed them down and tried to free these animals, because it's pure torture. It's nothing else. That's the main part of it. Animal research is torture, always. So we should always look for solutions to not do that anymore, for animal-free alternatives, for ways of not doing that to animals anymore. Absolutely
I have a friend whose wife works in research, and they do testing on animals.
It's terrible.
And a lot of the researchers, scientists, they have to publish more articles. They have to do research.
Yeah,
and they don't really care what they do as long as they do it.
I know.
So
I've heard about that too. Yeah,
I've heard about the victims are the animals.
Yes, and because they get most money for trials like this,
exactly.
Because it is subsidized as well, because we've been doing it for such a long time, animal testing. That's why they give the most money for animal testing. It is so insane, but yeah, I've heard of it too. Okay, so then we have the exploitation for entertainment and transport. Here on the left, we see a family visiting an aquarium or a zoo or a delphinarium or a SeaWorld or you name it. Okay, it's all the same bullshit. Okay, animals are in captivity. They're either catched from the wild to be in captivity, or they're bred into existence to be in captivity. So both absolutely bad. We shouldn't do that at all. No animal should be exploited to be shown. And also so many people are like, yeah, but we need zoos so that children can learn about these animals. Bitch, I learned everything about dinosaurs without ever seeing a dinosaur in real life. There are books, there are documentaries. You don't need to exhibit other sentient individuals, and also if you're against human zoos, which we already had in history, and if you reject human zoos, then where's the morally significant difference between us and other animals that justifies putting them in a zoo and exhibiting them for entertainment and not us?
But how will children see the animals? Come on, Alex.
And they cannot turn on the TV. Not that they're doing it all day long already, right? Being on a tablet
or virtual reality tablet. Also, many
absolutely.
things
That is such a low quality argument. And also, if zoos would really care about animals, they wouldn't sell milkshakes and hot dogs. So what are we talking about? It is an absolute. It is something so made up and not true that this is for the animals. It is not in the interest. That's all I'm saying.
Of course not. Of course.
And then we have the donkey, which is used for transport as much as horses that are used for transport and for entertainment. And here we have, an ice bear in Berlin. I just think the picture with all these people in the background, and there you have an ice bear. Like, an animal should not be in that situation at all, to be stared at, to be like, to be bred or captured to be displayed for profit and entertainment. And I used this picture of a horse because you can actually see that there is someone sitting on top. Even like all of this stuff is made from the skin of another animal, and I think this is very bizarre. This is why I used this picture to just like show the human supremacy mindset in it. Like, let's control an animal that usually is very shy and likes to run away from any type of predator, and let's oppress them, let's break them, let's sit on them, let's ride them, let's control them, let's put something in their mouth so that we can decide where they want to go, where they should go, where they should carry us. And all while we're doing that wearing shoes made from the skin of another animal. That is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's what was it that Vegan Gain said? It's called consent training. It's actually not that bad.
I mean, there is 0.1% of horse-human relationships where it is necessary to, from time to time, ride the horse. Otherwise, they wouldn't move at all, because they're so used to be just going forward when a human is on top of them. Doesn't mean that riding is good. Like, the conclusion is not good. It doesn't mean that riding a horse is something that we should continue to do.
Completely
These animals are not there, and even if it's like you would still have to train them to consent. And I don't know if that is something that you can actually do without brainwashing them, to be honest, because they're cognitively maybe not on that level that they could really understand the form of consent, or that it's just like a reaction that they would have because, oh, I get food, or when I let the people ride on me, or I'm used to that or whatever. So it's a little tricky. And also 99.9999% of the people are not riding like this. They're not doing consent training. They're just breaking them, riding them, oppressing them, using them as for entertainment for themselves, not in the interest of the horse.
Of course. That's
so
also what consent training is. It's just breaking the horses in. That's literally what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if they're already broken, and if you then consent train them to make sure that you know when they want to be ridden because they don't know any better right now, okay, but a very specific exception from the general rule of we should not ride horses, we should not go on the back of someone else so that they can carry us around. What are we thinking? What are we thinking? If you're really friends with that horse, you're on fucking eye level. You don't go on the back of your friends. You don't force them to carry you around like a fucking princess.
Well, that's what you do. I don't know. I tried to when you came here, I tried to tell you, come on, I need to go from. No, I don't know. I'm making dumb jokes. Let's go on.
Okay. So then we have the exploitation for pet breeding. On the left side, we have a fresh puppy from the breeder, while on the other side, we have a dog that is waiting in the shelter for someone to rescue them. So the question now is, why should we breed without consent, which is rape? I put it here so people will understand at this point of the folder. And most people don't know that breeders are also doing like this with human hand. Not all of them, but it's still not a different. Even if you force two animals onto each other and decide now it's time to breed for you, it is still something that you do for your own interest, not in the interest of the animal. You do that because you want to sell their offspring, you want to separate the family afterwards, and you want to make money with it, and because someone else has the interest of having a fresh dog that looks a certain way, that behaves a certain way. And no, I don't want to have like a used dog from the shelter. They emotionally have so much baggage. This is what someone actually said to me. This is why someone actually bought someone from a breeder, because they were like, oh no, when I go to the shelter, all of these animals, they are so emotionally blah, 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 blah. And, okay, so that's why you buy from a breeder? Absolutely insane.
Yeah. It is insane. Yeah, it's
because they're also emotionally damaged. I mean, they're separated from their brothers and sisters and from their family at a very early age on, thrown into a new family without any, probably without any other dogs, or at least dogs they know already. So it is still a difficult situation for them.
I think a lot of people don't actually know that much about it. They just think that some people have dogs. They have like not siblings, offsprings, and then they just when they grow a little bit up, they give away their offsprings because they can't take care of the dogs themselves. They don't realize it's a big industry behind it.
It's a big industry, and the puppy mill industry is so bad, so bad, so bad. And even if you go to responsible breeder, all of them are saying that they are responsible breeders. There is no such thing as a responsible breeder when you are as irresponsible as breeding animals into existence to sell their body for profit. What are you doing? Like, if you have really the financial methods or whatever, like if you have the option to bring someone new into your life that you care about, that you have space and money and time and energy for, then why are you not prioritizing already existing life? Like, why are you not going to the shelter where someone is desperately in need for you to rescue them? Why wouldn't you do that? Why new life?
You sound a little bit like an antinatalist there, Alex.
Really? Yeah, but maybe we should prioritize already existing life.
I completely agree with that. Sense. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense indeed. Like,
adopt, don't shop, and adopt, don't procreate. Okay, so let's go to the next page then. Yeah. That's why I say to people, hold on. Now I got to explain to you, because we're almost through. 3 very, very important phrasings. And I also ask the people to take a photo of that, because it's a lot. It's an info dump, but I want people to be aware what that means. Because we have to tell people the following. We have to tell people there is a separation between animal welfare, animal well-being, and animal rights. So animal welfare means that animals should be treated well during their use by humans. However, the exploitation of animals is not questioned, and the killing is hardly a subject of criticism. So when we look at animal welfare, it is mostly about giving them better food, giving them a bigger space, giving better practices, a little less pain whatsoever. This is all animal welfare, but it's not addressing the main problem of the exploitation itself or of the killing itself, okay? So animal welfare might be beneficial for animals within the exploitation, but it will never be powerful enough to end exploitation. It could even make it worse, because the more comfortable that non-vegans feel buying these products that are so high welfare, the less likely they will be to end their exploitation of animals, because they think like, oh, but it's not so bad. Look at this pig running around, green grass, they have nice food, they live very long, we kill them while they sleep, we pet them to death, but still the exploitation and the killing itself is not questioned whatsoever. So animal welfare is only helping to a certain amount, but it's more making the humans feel good about buying animal products. So animal welfare might be more like human animal welfare in that sense, so that people feel good when they buy these products. So
I think
Then
Lucy Munson has a
yes.
good comparison when she says that during slavery there were times who would say, "Oh, just give them bigger, better conditions to the slave."
Yeah,
Don't
of course, of
just
course, of course, and that's exactly the same thing. Yes,
yeah.
and then we have animal well-being that refers to the physical and emotional well-being of animals themselves. The term is often used to convey a positive image that does not always reflect reality, for example, through animal welfare labels. So animal well-being means that a human looks onto an animal from the outside and is like, you look great, you seem to be happy. That's animal well-being, because they cannot tell us how well they are. They cannot. We are assuming that from the outside to give us a better feeling about exploiting them. So when we say, look at them, the cow is standing on the field, she's eating grass, she seems to be happy, she seems to be well fed, so animal well-being is 10 out of 10. What we cannot know is how sad the cow feels missing her child, how even depressed a cow might be for having to give up her fourth child in a row right now. We don't see that from the outside. We don't know about their real well-being. We don't know about their mental health. We cannot know, but animal well-being is still used as a humane washing device for people to continue to feel good about buying animal products. Okay, come on.
But if they would suffer, you would feel it in the meat, right? That's what happens. You would taste it in the meat if they suffered.
Yes, that's also true. Yes. I recently saw a documentary that showed that pigs are having emotions, actually, that they have different emotions, and that each emotion has a different sound that they make. And so the conclusion from this documentary, a short documentary, was, oh, now that we know that pigs have emotions, now we can make sure that they feel happy so that their asses taste better.
Yeah.
Great. And that's exactly the same thing. It's exactly the same thing, and of course it might change the taste of the meat, because when they're really scared and have a lot of anxiety hormones sending out in the last moments of life, thrashing around in a gas chamber whatsoever, of course the meat might taste different. Like, I don't know, I don't even know how meat tastes, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't eaten meat since I was 13, so what do I know? I don't have any memory of that, and I don't miss it at all. But still, that is not a justification to do that, right? Like when they're happy, it's no justification to kill them so that the meat tastes better. Like,
it's literally just another way. It's just another example of objectifying them, right? We only care about what they give to us. If what they give to us is more or better, then we will do this. We don't really care how they feel or what they do. All we care is that what they give to us is better, right? Like, it's a perfect example, another perfect example of commodification.
Absolutely. And their emotions don't matter only when we can use their emotions to profit off of that, that benefits us. So when they are happy, the meat tastes better. That's our own interest, again, above their interest. Like, we don't care about the emotions only when we have a benefit from it, which is so perverted in a way. So yeah, and then we have animal rights, which means animal rights advocate for fundamental rights for animals similar to human rights. Animals should not be regarded as property and should have the right not to be exploited or killed without a valid reason. The human claim to use animals is fundamentally questioned. And the biggest and most important thing, which I lined out here in red, is without animal rights as a foundation, there can be no animal welfare worthy of the name. If animals are to be granted rights, a vegan lifestyle that rejects all forms of exploitation and enslavement is the minimum requirement. So as long as we're talking about anything like welfare whatsoever, there can be high welfare on an animal sanctuary. There can be high welfare at a shelter. There can be high welfare with our pets, yes, but it is only welfare to that amount that these animals are still, all of them, even our pets, are still considered, if you can see her asleep there like an angel, are still considered a property. Even Sunny, even there she is. Even Sunny is considered my property. Like, I have an insurance for her and it says property insurance. Yes, so she's under the same umbrella as all these other animals. None of them have rights. They're all considered our property. Some of them have more protection than others. Hence why we have like Tierschutzgesetz, like we have a few laws for pets and stuff. But also in the same law, it says like how to legally perfectly decapitate these other animals, how to legally perfectly stab them to death. It's in the same kind of law, so it doesn't make any sense. So as long as we don't have animal rights as the base of it, animal welfare is a saying that is not holding up, especially in the context of the animals that we exploit for food, entertainment, testing, the pet industry, whatsoever. So yeah, and
it's just another way, as you said, that they realize that the product that they give is better, therefore they will treat them better. Nobody cares. None of these people in these industries care about the animals, truly. None of them.
No.
They just care about the products.
Yes, and what I like to say, because you said it so well right now, what I like to say to the non-vegans is also, so who do you think is lying to you more? The people that want you to buy this product, that want to make profit with the animals that they commodified, or me, a vegan, who's most likely not being liked by you anymore when I tell you about it? I'm not gaining anything by you going vegan. Anything. I'm not gaining anything at all if anyone goes vegan because of me. For me, there's nothing in it, you know? Like, except
Admit it, Alex. Admit it. You have stock in veganism. There is a vegan stock market and you have stock in it. Admit it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's my entire goal. But yeah, but there's nothing in it for us, you know, to defend them when we speak up for them. For us, it is like we socially we are like not liked by many people. We are called extreme. We are called stupid. We are called irrational. We are called whatever. Especially when you're a woman as well. They're like on top. There are things that I get called because I'm a vegan female activist. And
I'm sorry about that.
And so it's fine. I mean, I got used to it, and I don't mind. But it is still obvious, and it happens, you know. And so, yeah, I think that's something that we should keep in mind and tell people that, like, who do you want to believe? Like, think about it for a moment. The people that are really like getting themselves into this issue and leading their life to protect the animals, or the people that want to profit from it. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay, so
I find it funny because also some people, I don't know if you've had this because you mentioned that you're a woman and you get that. I don't know if you ever got the fact that people say, well, what about different cultures and stuff like that? And it's such a, I feel like all of these people that mention different cultures, I think it's literally, that's what I was looking up, because I think it's literally the definition of culture appropriation, what they're doing, but it's something that they don't want to be doing. So it's insane. Like they're trying to say that it's what we do is culture appropriation, but the reality is what they're doing is culture appropriation.
Yeah.
Which is bad. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next side then. One of my favorite sides, because that is the result right now. That is like, okay, let's sum it up. That's the summary. Okay, so we have on the left side a picture of enslaved animals, still with a number in the ear, right? You can see they're kind of like on a farm. It says like not living vegan equals supporting exploitation and not rejecting animal enslavement. On the other side, we have, okay, it's AI. Yes, it should be like not a monoculture, but a permaculture. I was trying to make something futuristic, nice. So a vertical farming permaculture that is absolutely perfect, giving us a lot of good food, yes, with no pesticides and stuff. Vegan farming, no animals had to die, and so on, okay? Imagine. Never mind, okay? So, and on the right side, we have living vegan, which equals rejecting exploitation with the goal of abolishing animal enslavement. We have these two sides. And then I'm asking the person who's sitting in front of me always, hold on, to turn this folder, there we have it, to turn it around and to read in between.
That's what I just
and to read in between those images, because it says there is no middle ground here, as you can see. So to really visually clarify it for these people, from this moment on, you're either continuing to exploit other animals for optional products, or you stop right immediately and you reject their commodification. There is literally no in between. When you're not vegan from now on, that means you will continue to exploit animals. It's a binary thing. It is either or. There's no gray areas in between. It is either or. So what will you do from now on? And then I go to the next page where I have this stick lying on the ground.
I was gonna ask, what is it with the stick? Yeah.
This is something that people really have to tell, because I didn't write it in the folder because it is a story that people should tell this, okay? So the stick means something, okay? Picture this. You are walking down the street and you see on the other side of the street there is someone holding a stick and beating a dog with a stick. You have 3 options. All of these 3 options are very easy for you, okay? It's a normative question and not a descriptive question. So it is just about the values of it, okay? So the 3 options are, you could either join. Yes, you could also go there, grab a stick and punch the dog, okay? You could just ignore it and move on. Or you could go there and stop the person from hurting the animal. What would you do? Most reasonable people are saying, like, of course, I would either ignore it or I would go and help the dog. Of course, I would intervene. I would not join. Of course, I wouldn't, right? Okay. So, and then I'm asking the person, okay, would that change if it's not a dog, but if it's a cow, a pig, a chicken, or whoever? And they would be like, no, it actually wouldn't. It wouldn't change anything at all. I would still help this animal. Of course, I would. Like, what? And then I'm like, okay, so, but would it change something if it's not happening here in this street, but a few blocks away? No, of course not. Okay. And wouldn't it change anything if it's not happening on the street, but behind a wall, or if you're even paying someone to do it behind a wall? And they would be like, no. And then it's like, yeah, but why are you funding slaughterhouses then? You have to be vegan. If these are your values, if you would intervene or at least not join with violence towards other animals, you have to be vegan. You have to reject the exploitation and commodification. Otherwise, you're complicit. You cannot have it both. You cannot be like lip servicing the shit out of it and be like, yes, I'm all against animal exploitation. I want to reject that, blah blah blah, and then you stump their bodies in your mouth and eat their secretions and whatever, and pay for them to be decapitated in the slaughterhouse. And so this story is meant to get the people from imagine it happens right in front of your face to, okay, it happens away from you and you pay someone to do it. The thing is still the same. An animal will be killed, for what? For human pleasure. So, and on the next page, because the 2 belong together, right? Let me just show you.
Yeah.
So it's like this in the folder. And so one says participate, ignore, or intervene. So which translates to, are you going to stay a non-vegan? Are you going to be a vegan, or are you becoming an activist? Because when you intervene, you're an activist. This is what we do. We say, stop. Don't oppress other animals. Please just don't fund slaughterhouses. Stop oppressing other animals. Just don't. And that's where it makes click. And then they have the choice in front of their eyes. They know what it's all about. They've seen the facts. They know the ethics. They know the choices they have to make. And they are literally standing in front of this way that is going either to the left or to the right. So are you continuing to exploit them or not? Like, there is no in between. You got to make the choice now. Because if you say, oh, no, I don't know, you made a choice. It means you're not vegan from now on. You made a choice. It's not a good one. Sunny.
Sadly, yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Most people don't really. I think the problem, I mean, what I have found is that most people, because they don't see it, they can so easily turn away from it. And you show them this footage, you go through all of this folder, which is a great folder, and then I just hope that they reflect on it, at least, more than anything, because it's hard for me to expect for people to make a decision. And I honestly, I don't know if I want people to make a decision on the spot. I don't know if I want people to say they go vegan on the spot. I'd rather prefer it that they say they go plant-based until they do their research and they go vegan. I think that's more genuine, and that means somebody is actually interested in it. To me, that's just how I see it. Like, they're not just taking decisions on the spot. But if they don't think about the footage, if they don't think about the stuff that they saw anymore, if they just put it out of sight, out of mind again, then they just put it out of sight, out of mind again, and they don't see it anymore. And yeah,
That's
it's
true. Well, with my approach, I'm always, I mean, you do it too. Yeah, we always have to hold people accountable, and they have to make the
yeah,
choice right now because it is so urgent. And of course, it is. It is very, very, like, I cannot do that. I cannot let them go with, okay, you do your own research and then you decide. For me, it is a no-go. I cannot do that because I wouldn't accept it if I would be in the victim's perspective. I don't care if you do any research. Just, it is so obvious. It is so obvious what is going on. It is so obvious. So when you have a dead animal that you eat, that is the most obvious thing. Of course, they had to be killed for that. And if you eat their secretions and milk and eggs and stuff, yeah, that you might have
that's
to
where
know.
yeah.
I see it, but if someone tells you, that should be enough.
Then,
that should be. Why should we make this up? You know what I mean? It is what it's like. You
I
have to get
know.
these eggs and milk somewhere, and these animals have to be bred into existence for that. Like, these things have to happen. And so there is no way around it.
I think there's
Yeah.
also a little bit more power to the idea. Like, I think it gives you a little bit more power when you make a decision on your own without being presented with the information, but rather you try to find the information yourself. So when you're presented with the issue, because the reality is when we do activism, right, what we're trying to do is tell people, listen, this is the issue and here's the solution. Okay. Like, do you agree with the issue? Do you agree with the solution? And then, can you please be part of the solution and not the issue? That's it. That's all we got to do, right? And people, until they may not trust us, because a lot of people think, no, it's not happening in my country. No, it's not happening here. No, it's different. No, it's different to where I get it from. Like, they always think about welfare, not rights, as you pointed out earlier. So then that's why I encourage people to do their research a little bit, because I feel like it just makes it solidifies it a little bit more.
That's true, as long as they are vegan until they make a decision.
100%.
I think that's the point. Of course, they should do their own research. I mean, there's a lot to discover. There's a lot of books to read. There's a lot of documentaries to see. There's a lot of studies to read. There's a lot of footage, you know. So I think there's really, really a lot that people can learn from, and they should. In my opinion, everyone should make a deep dive into this issue, just as we did, obviously, because it is necessary that we all know, because the entire world is built on the backs of all of these countless animals. It is insane. And we are all responsible, and everyone has to talk about it. Vegan or not, I don't give a fuck. Everyone has to talk about it, and everyone has to talk about what is going on out of sight. Everyone. And most people are living in cities, and so most people don't know what is going on. And that's why I'm also going out there and filming these things. This is why I'm working on the new film next year, which I want to release then, hopefully with English subtitles for you as well to watch, because we need to constantly remind people and to show, because all of these industries, they've made it so very easy to forget. They've made it so very easy to feel good about it, and they've made it so clean, like a clinic, you know what I mean, like very like disinfected almost, that it seems to be such a clean cut thing for when you're not educated. But once you look behind the curtain, you see all these blood splatter, you see like guts hanging out, you see all of this stuff that no one thinks about, that no one sees, and you see their eyes and their suffering. You see how they don't go into slaughterhouses on their own. You know, we force everything onto them, and you can see once you look. And that's terrifying, and I think we should all do that. So yeah, I agree. People should look into it on their own terms as well. Like, do that, but first be vegan. Look one documentary tonight. Be vegan. Have a vegan meal. Eat it before the documentary, not while, and that's that. So yeah, and that's basically the folder.
Yeah. I have some questions, and maybe we keep this up. Where can people find this folder? Can people buy the folder in the format that you have it? How can people support your work, Alexandra? Because you do amazing work. You know,
Thank you.
This is awesome.
Okay, so first, you can find the folder and everything that I put out always up to date via my website, via my podcast website. So I've linked it all very easily so that you can always find it. It's always up to date, and it will always link to the same Google Drive where I upload the most recent data for print, for download, for whatever. There's also the Animal Rights Guide, which you can see here, which is also a free PDF for new vegans or activists who want to read up a little bit more about the ethical stuff, but also what you can do as an activist, online, offline, confrontational, informational activism, all of these different things. There's also a tactical guide, like a comic, which is drawn very cool by a friend of mine. It shows you the standard, or not the standard, but it shows you ways of how to talk to non-vegans, like how to hold up a conversation, what to look out for, how to do NTT, whatsoever. So it's all in this guide for free. So check it out. Send it to your vegan friends so that they become activists. We need every voice out there. And also use it for yourself to maybe fresh up your knowledge or to maybe get inspired. And there's also how to do good outreach science, good science in general. Yeah. So everything in there. You have also linked it in the video description, I guess, right?
I think so. Yeah, I put the links in the video description. I'll double check to make sure that they're all there.
Yeah, so on the website that is about me, aderholtprojects.com, that's my artist website, whatever. There's also a vegan menu point. When you click on it, you will also end up basically with my activism material. But everything is linked under richtiglautvegan.de, which is like our German podcast, because I'm also having a podcast about vegan activism and stuff. And there is also online for free download in English and in German. I always try to make it in both languages, and the folder is also, it is on its way to be translated to French as well. And it is already translated to Spanish, but not online yet. Yeah, that's my artist website. And that's like for vegans. When you scroll down, you end up at the activism stuff. When you scroll down, there we go. And then you find the activism materials, which is like science, outreach science, or the folder and the animal rights guide. So the PDF guides. And you can download everything and use it for yourself. Also table debate banners, also flyers, anything that you might want. And if you have any great outreach sign, a cat on the table is always chaos. So if you have any outreach sign idea that you want me to realize, you can just message me for free. If the idea is abolitionist and if it's good, so if it's not about a reducitarianism approach, so it's to abolish everything all at once, no baby step thing or stuff like that, no animal welfare, blah, 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 no health, no environment, no, we're doing abolitionist animal rights activism here. So if you have any ideas about that, feel free to contact me. If I think that the idea is good, I will do the design and I will add it to the collection so that other people can download it as well. And yeah, and that's it. Oh yeah, and if people want to order the one like this, so for people in the German-speaking countries, I brought you one. I gifted you one. So when I visited you,
that's awesome.
For the people in the German-speaking countries, you can contact me. I have a lot of printed versions here, which I'm going to send out. You only have to pay for the print and the shipping costs. For the English-speaking people, I've not ordered yet so many of the folders. I do have some here, so if you want one, you can ask me. But I've yet not because I was a little inactive on my English profile, so not many people were asking for it. So this is why I don't have many, but I will, and I could also send you out some, as long as it's not 100 people ordering one. That would be a little bit much, and I have to sort out how to organize that. Yeah, you can contact me and we will find a way. Otherwise, which would be easier and would save me some time, I've also uploaded a README file that shows you very easily how to send it to print, what to tell your printer, what to look out for, and it should be very easy. So for example, let me just explain very quickly. This, I didn't send it, I didn't order something that looks like this, the final product. I ordered it like this. So it's basically a vertical, just like a magazine with a spiral binding, And the design of the folder is like this. So it is meant after print to be just turned around by hand, basically. So it's a very common print product. Yes, just a vertical magazine with a spiral binding on the side, and then you just send it to print, okay? And make sure that the print shop is vegan, so that they have vegan materials and colors and everything, and ink. And yeah.
I have one more question for you from Roya Stem. Have you considered doing lectures in universities and or schools?
Yeah, I will actually have my very first school lecture this year. Yeah.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because actually a school class was seeing me outside doing outreach activism, and they were talking to their teacher, and they were like, we should invite her, and we should have her to talk about with the entire school, actually. And so I'm now in the discussion with the teacher, and we're preparing everything, which is pretty cool. And I really want to do that more often. And I want to also film myself doing it, so that I can share it online as well. So there's like double the impact, you know? So that is pretty cool. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm a little bit nervous because children, but I think I can manage. I have to see what words I can use and what pictures I can show. I'm really, really a little bit struggling with that, but this is why I'm talking to the teacher, because it's very hard for me to get a feeling for it, because the last time I was dealing with children, I was a child myself. So I don't know how to communicate with them.
I completely agree with you. I also have a couple of comments saying, wait, that's amazing. Nice. That's cool. And Alex is a Renaissance woman. I don't know what that means, by the way. I don't know.
I don't know what that means. Is it because of my forehead? Some people told me already.
I don't know. I think you look great. Don't worry about it. LS says,
I love my forehead.
Yeah. I mean, I have a big forehead also, but I just cover it with my... It's not
that
I
we
don't
have a big
love
brain. Big brain needs to live somewhere. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
Obvious.
Big brain. The size of the brain doesn't really matter, but yes. Alexandra, I'm a graphic designer and do a lot of vegan stuff. Let me know if you ever need help with something, says LS.
That sounds great. Please contact me on any platform whatsoever. That would be nice, because I think it's always good to share some work if there's a lot to do. That would be nice. Sure, why not? Let's get in contact.
Okay. I'd love to have more of a conversation with you, but maybe we do that in a different stream, because I think it's been 3 hours. You want to go eat. I want to go
and I will have podcast in 12 hours, and I will talk for 5 hours.
Okay. Well, you're good at talking. You're good at talking, Alexandra. Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you for being here, Alexandra.
Thank you for having me.
Everybody, please go and subscribe to Alexandra's channel, The Radical.
I only do it for clicks. Come and subscribe, bitches.
Yeah, she does it for clicks, obviously.
I only do it for clicks.
Only. Yes. That's also why she clicks to her website. Like it's not clicks to the channel.
I earn a lot of
secretly,
money.
I
earn so much money doing activism. It's not. It is absolutely giving me a lot of money.
Yeah, so Alexandra, I believe that people who want this folder, if they also want to support you, and if you ever feel like you want to add whatever 10%, whatever it is that you want to add on it, add on top of it. That's fine. Everybody appreciates
I'm
your
a
work.
little bit. I know, but also I'm a little bit punk rock in my heart, and for me, I think some things should always be free. Should be as free as they can be, and especially with activism, I feel very bad if I would gain something from it. Of course, in the long run, I have to find a way, because I want to do this full time. I have to find a way, but I was thinking about making it very transparent, just like to show like my income for what I spend it. It's like I spend it for activism, everything, and so maybe I can do that in the future. But for now, I just give it. I don't want anything. I just want to do activism. I want you to do activism. I want everyone out there, everyone who's vegan. I want you to do activism. I just do all of this for free and give it out in the hope that this inspires others to just start with what they have. You don't have to prepare anything. You have everything that you need. You have a folder, you have flyer, you have outreach signs, you have protest signs, you have everything that you might need to do great activism. So please just do it. That is more worth than any money that you could give me. I want the world to be as vegan as it possibly can be by the time I'm leaving this earth. So please do activism with the stuff I create, share it, be loud, be good with what you do, and educate yourself on this topic as well, so that we are the best activists that we can be. We have to be like, how do you say? I missed the word. I have to eat something. Anwälte. Let me just Google this one word, and then my sentence is finished. It's on the tip of my tongue. I'm losing lawyers. Oh my God. Okay. Yeah, we have to be like lawyers. That's what I'm always saying. So we have to take this serious. We have to prepare ourselves, and we can't go out and talk shit to people. We have to take this serious, and we have to defend our clients in the best possible way. So please educate yourself and other vegans. Be the best activist that you can be, and go out and do stuff. Do stuff. Do stuff. Yes.
I love it. I wanted to end the conversation by saying I want to incentivize people to go do that, but you already did that. So, and yeah, Navia says your English is very good. Yeah, it is very good. So
thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. And to top it off, just to top it off, Alex is giving you that amazing design folder, and I already am trying to give a microphone to one vegan person who wants to become an activist. And if somebody else wants to start doing activism and needs a microphone, please contact me. I do have one more microphone that I want to give away. So contact me on Instagram, and I want to give a microphone to somebody. Come on, just contact me. You want a microphone? With the of course the idea that you will go out there, do outreach and film your outreaches, publish them, and hopefully we get this Holocaust to end, and we can all sleep at night nicely. So thank you so much for being here, Alex. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you everybody for being here. Thank you for the donation, Vegan Cannibal. I will split the 10 Canadian dollars. I don't know how much that's worth in euros with Alex. Maybe when we see each other, because we're going to see each other.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much for everybody for being here. Have an awesome evening. Have an awesome day. Who have a day. And stop oppressing animals. If you're not vegan, what are you doing? And if you're vegan,
and if you're vegan, be activist. Be activist. Don't just ignore it. Stop the person from beating the animal to death, like the one with the stick. Intervene. Okay.
Yes.
Great, everyone.
Just sitting around is not enough. Okay?
No.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.